Chapter 577. This dual cultivation of the Sea of Consciousness lasted for a total of 10 days. 10 days later, Ning Fan left the cauldron world with Tung Xianrou. With a sway of his body, he appeared in the cabin of the Azure Sky Boat. At this moment, Tung Xianrou was still wearing the same attire as before. However, her face was covered with a pink veil. It was enough to block the senses of cultivators below the void fragmentation realm, causing others to be unable to see her appearance clearly. Both of Ning Fan's eyes were filled with a vast sword intent. Through the dual cultivation in his Sea of Consciousness this time, he had completely seized the power of Tung Xianrou's sword consciousness and kept it for his own use. The current Ning Fan's spirit sense had improved tremendously. It was far from what it was 10 days ago. Tung Xianrou had painstakingly cultivated her sword consciousness and sword sense for tens of thousands of years. All of the power of her sword consciousness had become the cornerstone that strengthened Ning Fan's Sea of Consciousness. 10 days ago, Ning Fan's spirit sense was just at the ordinary absolute void stage. 10 days later, his spirit sense was infinitely close to the returning to great void stage. After this dual cultivation session, his yin-yang transformation cultivation technique naturally broke through to the second layer of the third layer. Although his magic power did not increase, his battle prowess had increased greatly. This dual cultivation of the Sea of Consciousness is a pretty good plucking technique. Ning Fan muttered to himself with a smile. Your divine sense has skyrocketed. For you it's naturally not bad. Under Tung Xianrou's veil, her pretty face was slightly embarrassed and angry. What she was ashamed of was that she had been having dual cultivation with Ning Fan's Sea of Consciousness for the past 10 days. He was angry because her sword awareness had collapsed and her Sea of Consciousness had returned to an ordinary Sea of Consciousness. After several tens of thousands of years of bitter cultivation, it only resulted in the rapid growth of his spirit sense. She naturally had a belly full of complaints. Unfortunately, she was Ning Fan's slave now. She could only be angry but did not dare to say anything. Calm down. You are a void fragmentation realm expert after all. How can you get angry so easily? Ning Fan teased. Can you not call me like this? I can't bear it. Tung Xianrou gnashed her teeth. She did not like being called by Ning Fan in such an intimate manner. If I don't call you am I supposed to call you Tung Xianrou? What if someone else hears this and finds out that the servant beside me is the dignified palace master Ziting? Fine, call me whatever you want. Tung Xianrou knitted her brows. She really did not want others to know that she had become Ning Fan's slave. Seeing Tung Xianrou admit defeat, Ning Fan nodded his head in satisfaction and walked out of the cabin. Tung Xianrou immediately followed him with small steps. After 10 days of flying, the Azure Sky Ship had passed 29 cultivation countries and was not far from the country of Cold Azure. At the bow of the Azure Heaven boat, Qing Dai was piloting the flying boat. As soon as she saw Ning Fan coming out of the cabin, she immediately asked with concern, "Big Brother Liu, has the injury to your primordial spirit healed?" "Yes, my injuries have healed." "Which country are you flying to now?" Ning Fan asked. "We're already at the Emerald Universe Nation. After flying through another 13 cultivation nations, we'll reach the Frigid Azure Nation." This sister is," Qing Dai answered respectfully. At this moment, Tung Xianrou also came out of the cabin, which was why Qing Dai asked this question. Tung Xianrou deliberately revealed her void inquiry stage cultivation base to conceal her void fragmentation realm qi. Seeing that Tung Xianrou was a void inquiry stage cultivator, Qing Dai addressed her as elder sister, and her tone was very polite. "My name is Qianrou, I'm Liu Bei's friend." Tung Xianrou said the word friend in a strange tone. Ning Fan had told her how to address Qing Dai in advance. As for Qianrou's name, it was just a random fabrication. "Oh, so it's elder sister Qianrou. My name is Qing Dai." Tung Xianrou felt rather speechless. She did not want to talk to Qing Dai anymore. When she thought of herself, a dignified void fragmentation realm old monster, addressing a void glimpse stage little girl as sister one day, she felt aggrieved, seeing that Tung Xianrou did not want to talk to her. Qing Dai obediently changed the topic. She took out a storage pouch and passed it to Ning Fan. Other than the tree god fruits, The storage pouch also contained cultivation materials. Big Brother Lu, I've spent 90 billion immortal jade that you gave me. I still have 30 billion left. I bought a total of 6,200 tree god fruits. As for the 12 types of cultivation materials, I've already bought all of them except for the 12 types of the rarest ones. 6,200 tree god fruits are enough. As for the 12 types of cultivation materials, all of them are extremely rare and precious. It's very normal that I didn't manage to buy them. Thank you for your hard work. Ning Fan received the storage pouch and kept it. Currently, his rain intent was already at the 4th grade. According to his estimation, he would need around 5,000 tree god fruits to break through to the 3rd grade. With the number of tree god fruits he had now, it was completely enough for his rain intent to break through to the 3rd grade. He learned from old demon Fu Sang that one would need to consume the tree ancestor fruit to advance from the 3rd grade to the 2nd grade, and then from the 2nd grade to the 1st grade. The tree god fruits were no longer effective. Since that was the case, it was meaningless for him to buy more tree god fruits. The only thing he could do now was to find an opportunity to go to the Bamboo Palace. We'll reach Hansong after going through 13 cultivation countries. I think we still have a few days to go. During these few days, you and Ro Air will buy the last 12 types of materials for the puppet. As for the tree god fruits, you don't have to buy them anymore. Ning Fan returned to the cabin alone, leaving Tung Xianro beside Qing Dai. He had already ordered Tung Xianro to accompany Qing Dai to buy the materials for the puppet. Naturally, Tung Xianro would not dare to disobey his order. As soon as he returned to the cabin, he went into the dark golden pagoda of the Yuanyao world, and entered seclusion to refine the tree god fruits. There were a total of 36 palaces on the 7th floor of the dark golden pagoda. Ning Fan pushed open one of the doors and entered a space with green mountains and clear waters. With a leap of light, he flew to the top of the mountain and released his rain intent. The entire space was immediately filled with a downpour of rain. The rain drenched his body. Cold chi seeped into his body. His heart gradually felt gloomy. How long more do I need to break through to the 1st grade rain intent? How long more do I need to find my mother? 1st grade rain intent. No matter how difficult it is, I must break through to the 1st grade rain intent. I will definitely find my mother in the vast sea of people with this technique. Ning Fan's eyes were blank. He patted his storage pouch and took out several tree god fruits, refining them into his body. The price of a tree god fruit was equivalent to a nascent soul realm Dao fruit. After swallowing 5,000 tree god fruits, the rain intent in Ning Fan's eyes became denser. A year on the 7th floor of the pagoda was just 3 days in the outside world. He stood in the rain for a year, as if he wanted to become one with the rain. His fingers moved back and forth to form the 2 styles of the rain art, Haotian rain and Yang Heaven rain. At first, the hand seals were extremely fast, but towards the end, they became slower and slower. When the hand seals became so slow that they almost stopped, Ning Fan formed the 3rd hand seal. It was the rain of the 3rd heaven, Scarlet Heaven rain. After he defeated the heavenly cloud realm that day, he tried to fuse the rain art together. However, he could not even fuse the 2 types of rain art together. At that time, his rain intent realm was at the 8th grade. Today he was displaying 3 types of rain arts at the same time, but they showed signs of fusing easily. Because of this, Ning Fan's rain intent was already at the peak of the 4th grade rain intent. It was just a tiny bit away from breaking through to the 3rd grade rain intent. The 3rd grade rain intent can fuse with the 3 styles of the rain technique. As long as I break through to the 3rd grade rain intent, I will be able to fuse with the rain from the previous 3 days. Ning Fan had already consumed enough tree god fruits. All he needed now was an opportunity to break through to the 3rd grade rain intent. With a flash, he left the Yuanyao world and appeared on the Azure Heavenly Arc in the outside world. 3 days had passed in the outside world. The Azure Heavenly Arc was already approaching the Azure Cold Country. Ning Fan walked out of the cabin step by step, and felt the continuous rain intent on the arc. It was greatly beneficial for him to break through the bottleneck of the rain intent. The Azure Heavenly Arc had been drenched by the rain for thousands of times. Therefore, a trace of rain intent that could not be erased was left on it. This rain intent matched Ning Fan's current mood. He fell into a mysterious state of Dao comprehension. Qing Dai and Teng Xianrou could tell that Ning Fan was comprehending something, and they did not dare to disturb him. He looked at the distant azure cold country. He looked at the drifting clouds in the sky and the sea of pine trees that stretched across the land. He looked at the grand formation of the azure cold country, and the cultivators who were coming and going. Eventually, his eyes fell on the azure heavenly Arkansas. His mouth was repeatedly chanting the heart chant of the heaven-peaking rain. There is rain in the 9 heavens. My thoughts are connected to this world. The clouds are my eyes and the rain is my thoughts. Outside the grand formation, cultivators of the azure cold country were coming and going. In front of the azure heavenly ark, there were 3 gigantic ships waiting for inspection to enter the azure cold country. The azure heavenly ark was right behind them. The 3 ships had the same clan insignia on them. It was a cedar tree insignia. All the cultivators on the ships belonged to the cedar clan of the azure cold country. Qing Dai stopped the azure heavenly ark from moving forward, and ordered it to hover behind the 3 ships. Her eyes inadvertently glanced around. When she saw the insignia on the 3 ships, she was stunned at first. Then her face revealed a hint of resentment. These are the 3-masted ships of the Cedar clan. The country of Cold Azure was a void-rank cultivation country, and the Snow Pine clan was one of the 12 clans of Cold Azure. Each of the 12 clans of the Azure Cold country had a void refinement realm expert. All of them were first-rate forces of the Azure Cold country. Among the 12 clans of Cold Azure, there were 4 tree clans that had a grudge with the Nether Sieve clan, and the Snow Pine clan was one of them. Qing Dai still remembered that 1,000 years ago when she was still young, the Cedar clan had once bullied and humiliated the Nethernet clan. At that time, she was not the High Priestess yet. The High Priestess was her mother. At that time, her mother was about to succeed in the Void Glimpse stage. On that day, when the Snow Pine clan heard that the Ming Luo clan was about to give birth to a Void Glimpse stage expert, a group of experts cruelly appeared in the Ming Luo clan. That day, her mother was besieged by the experts of the Cedar clan, and eventually died in the hands of the young patriarch of the Cedar clan. The cultivators of the Snow Pine clan would never allow a void refinement cultivator to be born in the Nethersift clan. They were very happy to see the decline of the Nethersift clan. Qing Dai's eyes were filled with intense hatred. She clenched her fists so tightly that her long nails pierced into her palms, causing blood to gush out. She looked at the 3 cedar ships in front of her. Each of the 3 cedar ships was guarded by a void refinement realm expert. The young patriarch of the Cedar clan was standing on the bow of one of the ships. He was a silver-robed young man who gave off a cold evil chi. Above his left eye, there were 3 magnificent silver demon stars flashing. This silver-robed young man's name was Ao Chun. His cultivation level was unrivaled among Void Inquiry stage experts. At the moment, he was fiddling with the bloody head of a dead man. It was the head of a Void Inquiry stage cultivator. The patriarch of the Golden Oak clan is a Void Inquiry stage expert after all. To think that he couldn't even withstand a single blow. I haven't even attacked him, and he is already dead. How disappointing. The demon power in Ao Chen's palm vibrated, shattering the dead man's head into a mist of blood. His eyes suddenly turned sideways and caught a glimpse of Qing Dai's heavenly azure ship. His arrogant eyes scanned across Ning Fan and Teng Xianrou. When he saw that both of them revealed their Void Inquiry stage cultivation level, he did not think much of them. However, when his eyes caught sight of Qing Dai, killing intent flashed across his eyes. Oh, this lady in green robes seems to be a Ming Luo tree demon? Interesting. Since when did the Ming Luo clan produce another Void Glimpse stage expert? The Ming Luo clan. As long as my Snow Pine clan is still around, your Ming Luo clan will never be able to rise again. 4th Elder, 5th Elder, the 2 of you go and kill this lady. As for the 2 Void Inquiry stage cultivators on the ship, they seem to be helpers hired by this lady. Most likely, they also have a deep relationship with the Ming Luo clan. Just kill them as well. Ao Chen waved his hand disapprovingly. 2 Void Inquiry stage old men immediately flew up from the other 2 ships towards the Heavenly Azure ship. Their killing intent locked onto Qing Dai and the others. These 2 people were none other than the 4th and 5th elders of the Snow Pine clan. Both of their cultivation levels were already close to the unrivaled Void Inquiry stage. To them, killing Void Glimpse stage experts and ordinary Void Inquiry stage experts was as easy as squashing ants. Especially when it came to squashing ants from the Ming Luo clan, the two of them did not feel reluctant at all. The Ming Luo clan and the Snow Pine clan were mortal enemies. There was no need for any reason to kill the members of the Ming Luo clan. Outside the realm-locking Grand Formation, the cultivators who were in charge of inspecting the incoming cultivators were from the Qin Nan clan. The Qin Nan clan was also one of the 12 clans of the Cold Azure clan. Among this group of cultivators, the one with the highest cultivation level was a Void Pierce stage old man. He was the great elder of the Qin Nan clan, and his name was Qin Shuangzi. Even though the Qin Nan clan did not have any grudges with the Ming Luo clan, they did not have any friendly relations with each other either. When Qin Shuangzi saw that the two Void Inquiry stage elders of the Snow Pine clan already had killing intent towards Qing Dai, he sighed softly. However, he did not intend to help her. The Snow Pine clan is too powerful. They have a total of 3 absolute Void Inquiry stage experts. It's not something our Qin Nan clan can afford to offend. It's not worthwhile for me to offend the Snow Pine clan for the sake of a little girl from the Ming Luo clan. The 4th and 5th elders of the Snow Pine clan are both cultivators who are close to the unrivaled Void Inquiry stage. With the two of them taking action, that little girl will certainly die. However, I wonder where the 2 Void Inquiry stage cultivators beside that little girl come from. Are they helpers hired from other cultivation countries? When the Ming Luo clan was at its peak, it had offended too many forces. The Snow Pine clan is one of them. With just 2 Void Inquiry stage experts, they are not a match for the Snow Pine clan. The Ming Luo clan has already declined, and there's no possibility of it rising again. Qin Shuangzi closed his eyes indifferently. From his point of view, Qing Dai was just a Void Glimpse stage cultivator. She would certainly die in the hands of the 2 elders of the Snow Pine clan. Tung Xianrou's beautiful eyes turned grim. She did not care about the grudges between the Ming Luo clan and the Snow Pine clan at all. Moreover, she did not have the intention to help Qing Dai. However, the 2 elders of the Snow Pine clan had crossed the line. They actually locked their killing intent on her as well. They were simply tired of living. Who was she? She was the dignified palace Lord Zitong. She was a Void Fragmentation realm old monster. She was already feeling very aggrieved after falling into Ning Fan's hands. Just when she was in a bad mood, these 2 Void Inquiry stage ants locked their killing intent on her. They were simply provoking her. She lifted one of her fingers. She had an impulse to activate 1 million sword rays with a single finger and eliminate these 2 Void Inquiry stage old men. Qing Dai's bright eyes were filled with extreme anger. The Snow Pine clan was too overbearing. Just because she was a member of the Ming Luo clan and a Void Refinement Realm cultivator, they could kill her without asking for a reason. It was just like how they killed her mother without asking for a reason in the past. The Snow Pine clan was too hateful. She formed a hand seal, preparing to activate the defensive grand formation of the Azure Sky Ship to block the attacks of the 2 elders. After that, she would activate the 12 Void Spirit Cannons and kill these 2 Void Inquiry stage old men. It was impossible for her to be bullied by the Snow Pine clan every single time. Qing Dai and Teng Xianrou were enraged. They wanted to counterattack the 2 elders of the Snow Pine clan. However, before the 2 of them could make their moves, Ning Fan took a step forward and stood in front of them. His eyes were filled with confusion as he looked at the 2 elders who were flying towards him. His eyes were filled with boundless rain intent. That rain intent was just a tiny bit away from breaking through to the 3rd grade. That tiny bit of difference was like a tiny crack. After he comprehended it bit by bit, it had already closed up bit by bit. He lowered his head. He did not look at the 2 elders but at the Azure Sky Ship beneath his feet. He raised his head. Instead of looking at the 2 elders, he stared at the cloudless sky. His eyes glowed with cloudy light. Under his gaze, the sky immediately darkened. Dark clouds covered the sky and a dense drizzle fell. At this moment, his rain intent had broken through the bottleneck of the 3rd grade. After the rain intent reached the 3rd grade, its power increased tremendously. It was even more powerful than some mortal void magic techniques. Third grade rain intent. At this moment, a heavenly green rain intent floated in Ning Fan's eyes. Die. The two elders of the Snow Pine sect were already very close to them. Each of them stretched out their hands and grabbed at Ning Fan, and the other two. The two of them attacked at the same time. Immediately, two gigantic palms tens of thousands of feet long slammed towards the azure sky ship. The two of them were confident that their cultivation level was close to the unrivaled void inquiry stage. Thus, they did not put Ning Fan and the others in their eyes at all. At this moment, Ning Fan's eyes suddenly turned cold. There was no longer any expression on his face. He didn't need to know about the enmity between the Cedar tribe and the underworld Civ tribe. He wouldn't ask. He did not need to know the background of these two void inquiry stage old men. He would not ask. He only needed to know one thing, and that was that his opponent had made a move against him. He had the intent to kill. As such, he didn't need to show mercy to these two people. He raised his hand and pointed his finger down. This finger didn't use any magic power, just the endless rain of the third grade. Third grade rain intent. It was one grade higher than the Rain Emperor's rain intent. Rumor has it that the Rain Emperor could kill a void glimpse stage cultivator with just his fourth grade rain intent. At this moment, the endless rain intent that Ning Fan made with his finger could even melt a void inquiry stage cultivator. The rain of heaven and earth seemed to be listening to Ning Fan's summon as it rolled towards the palms that the two elders threw out. As the drizzle brushed past, the two gigantic palms suddenly trembled. In just an instant, they strangely melted into the rain and disappeared without a trace. The fourth and fifth elders were stunned at first. They did not know what Ning Fan had done to block their palms in such a strange way. At the next moment, the drizzle that filled the sky drenched their bodies. Both of them immediately wore an extremely shocked expression. It was as if all of their magic power was going to be melted in this drizzle. It was as if their lifetime's worth of Tao was going to be buried in this drizzle. It was as if their lifetime's worth of cultivation was going to be lost in this drizzle. Impossible. How can this person's intent realm be so powerful? He can break our abilities just by using the power of his intent realm. This rain intent can't be resisted by force. We must immediately avoid it. Both of them were greatly shocked and hurriedly retreated, trying to escape from the curtain of rain. However, the rain intent had already been planted in their bodies. They could neither escape nor erase it. Every time they took a step back, they would melt a little. After taking tens of steps back, their physical bodies trembled and turned into two puddles of blood in the vast sky. Then, they scattered along with the drizzle. This is the fourth grade rain intent. No, this is the third grade. Qin Shuangzi, who had been keeping her eyes closed all this while, suddenly opened her eyes in shock. As for the young lord of the Snow Song sect, Ao Chun, who was watching calmly from the side, his eyes were filled with astonishment. He had seen some cultivators who possessed the rain intent realm, but he had never seen someone with such a strong rain intent realm like Ning Fan. There were only a few cultivators who possessed the third grade intent realm in the entire tree world. Who exactly is this man? How did the Ming Luo clan manage to invite such a powerful helper? Chapter 578. Ning Fan glanced sideways at Ao Chun, the young patriarch of the Shuesong clan. His eyes were filled with shock. At this moment, Ning Fan's eyes did not have a trace of baleful qi. Instead, they were as calm as still water. That calm gaze made Ao Chun's monster soul feel a sharp pain, as if all of its cultivation was about to melt in that gaze. Ao Chun did not know who Ning Fan was. The Vine Sovereign's wanted order had yet to reach the Eastern Tree Sea. However, he could clearly feel that Ning Fan's combat power was extremely terrifying. It was definitely not something that he could defeat. He was a Void Inquiry stage expert, and Ning Fan was also a Void Inquiry stage expert. However, the difference between their strength was like heaven and earth. Ao Chun had never felt such a strong sense of crisis, even when he was facing the three great void ancestors of his race. He instinctively feared Ning Fan, and nearly wanted to run for his life. But the pride of the Cedar clan made him unwilling to flee for his life. He, Ao Chun, was the dignified young clan leader of the Cedar clan, while Ning Fan was just a helper hired by the Ming Luo clan of the Declining Tree clan. He did not believe that Ning Fan would dare to kill him. Your abilities are extraordinary, but you've killed 2 elders of my Cedar clan. You must give my Cedar clan an explanation for this matter. Otherwise, the 3 great void ancestors of our clan will come together. You will die no matter where you hide. Aochin forced himself to calm down as he stood at the bow of the ship amidst the drizzle. Then he threatened the Azure Sky ship in the distance. Qin Shuangzi, who was guarding the Locking Realm Grand Formation, sighed inwardly. He thought to himself that Ning Fan had killed the 2 elders of Xuesong sect without any hesitation, and without asking about their background. Obviously, he was a devil lord who could do whatever he wanted. He would not be afraid of any threat or background at all. It was obvious that Aochin had already shed all pretense of cordiality with Ning Fan. Instead of running for his life as soon as possible, he dared to threaten Ning Fan here. He was just too stupid. If Ning Fan kills Aochin and flees 1,000 li away, he can just hide in a remote corner of the Eastern Tree Sea. Even if your Snowpine clan has 3 old ancestors of the Great Void Stage, can they still find Ning Fan in the vast sea of people? This Aochin has a good aptitude, but his temperament is too bad. If he doesn't escape now, I'm afraid he won't have the chance to do so again. He'll die here for nothing. Just where did this kid come from? He's such a ruthless demon, and he even has a 3rd-grade concept. Even though his cultivation base is only at the Void Inquiry stage, he is definitely not a nobody in the Eastern Tree Sea. Why have I never heard of him before? Qin Shuangzi pondered. As Qin Shuangzi had expected, Ning Fan turned a deaf ear to Aochin's threat. His gaze, which was filled with the intent of rain, swept across the 3 ships of the Snowpine tribe, and he suddenly took a step forward. His body was surrounded by the cool and warm 3rd-grade rain intent. With a leap, he disappeared in the drizzle. The drizzle that filled the sky suddenly swept toward the 3 ships of the Cedar Pine race. The sky-blue rain intent spread out in the vast sky, as if it was being dyed by light ink. The rain was clearly extremely beautiful, but in the eyes of the cedar tree cultivators on the 3 ships, it was as if they had seen something terrifying. Countless cries of alarm came from the 2 ships that the 4th elder and the 5th elder were on. In the blink of an eye, they melted in the sky-blue rain, and the thousands of cultivators on the ships all turned into blood that sprayed into the sky. Not a single one escaped. Aochin hurriedly activated the ship's protective formation, temporarily blocking the melting rain from the sky. Looking at the sky-blue 3rd-grade rain intent, his scalp also felt numb. His heart was filled with shock and disbelief. Ning Fan was actually not afraid of the reputation of the Cedar Pine clan, and actually dared to directly kill him, the young clan leader of the Cedar Pine clan. He is truly a lawless devil lord. If it weren't for him who activated the protective formation light, he would certainly have ended up like the 2 Void Inquiry stage elders, losing his life in the rain intent. Isn't he afraid of being hunted down by the 3 absolute Void stage experts? Isn't he afraid of offending the 12 clans of the Azure Cold clan? No matter how foolish Aochin was, he knew that he must run for his life at this moment. Set sail quickly. I want to return to the Cedar Valley immediately, and ask the 3 old ancestors of the Absolute Void stage to kill this man. In reality, Aochin did not even need to give the order. When the cultivators of the Cedar Pine clan on the ship saw that the other 2 ships were completely annihilated, their scalps went numb. All of them were terrified of Ning Fan to the core. They did not dare to stay at this place for even a moment longer. They immediately activated the ship and flew at its fastest speed, hoping to pass through the country-sealing Grand Formation and escape to the Cedar Valley of the Azure Cold Country as soon as possible. Aochin still knew how to run for his life at this moment. He was still not hopelessly stupid. Unfortunately, it was a little too late for him to think of running away now. Outside the country-sealing Grand Formation, Ning Fan slowly emerged amidst the light rain and wind. His entire body was surrounded by the azure rain intent. His eyes were indifferent as he stood in front of the ship. He would certainly not give it a chance to escape. He raised his hand and pointed at the ship. The vast azure rain intent swept towards the ship like a brush drawing in the sky. The formation light of the last cedar ship immediately dissolved in the rain. The hull of the ship began to melt. Each of the low-grade cultivators of the Cedar Pine clan melted into a pool of blood one after another. The azure rain intent turned into a huge hand and slammed down on Ao-chin. As the rain intent hit his face, Ao-chin felt that all of his demon power had melted under the rain intent. He could not summon any of his demon power at all. He wanted to fly away to avoid the attack of the rain intent, but he could not muster any strength. As soon as he moved, he was hit by the rain intent. At the moment he was hit by the palm, his body immediately turned into a pool of blood and melted under the attack of the third-grade rain intent. At this point, the 3 ships of the Cedar Pine clan were all annihilated by Ningfan alone before they could enter the Azure Cold Country. With a flick of his sleeve, Ningfan kept the rain intent and dispersed the drizzling rain. The sky cleared up again, and a magnificent rainbow appeared in the vast sky. However, none of the cultivators of the Qin Nan clan who were guarding the Grand Formation had the mood to appreciate the rainbow. All of them had heavy hearts. Other than Qin Shuangzi, all the cultivators who were guarding the Grand Formation could not help but tremble. However, even Qin Shuangzi himself was filled with fear towards Ningfan at this moment. There was even a hint of fear in him that he did not realize. Ningfan returned to the Azure Sky Boat. The 3 ships that were waiting to enter the country had all been destroyed. Naturally, it was the Azure Sky Boat's turn to enter the country. Qin Shuangzi did not expect Ningfan to still dare to enter the country after killing someone. It seemed like he was not afraid of the revenge of the Cedar Pine clan. He calmed himself down and led a few divine transformation realm cultivators of the Qin Nan clan to the sky. They landed on the Azure Sky Boat and cupped their fists at Ningfan and the others politely. The Qin Nan clan and the Nether Luo clan never had any grudges against each other. Thus, Qin Shuangzi was naturally not afraid that Ningfan would kill him. Moreover, in Qin Shuangzi's eyes, Ningfan was just a void inquiry stage cultivator after all, even though he was strong. His third-grade rain intent was indeed powerful. However, it was only enough to kill a void inquiry stage expert. If it were a void pierce stage expert, they would more or less have the means to withstand the attack of a third-grade rain intent. In Qin Shuangzi's eyes, Ningfan, who possessed a third-grade rain intent, was probably strong enough to fight against a void pierce stage expert. Of course, he did not know how terrifying Ningfan's strength was when he went all out. He could even fight against Guiyuan Taishu. I am Qin Shuangzi, the great elder of the Qin Nan clan. I am in charge of guarding the grand formation of the country. Any cultivators who enter the country must go through my inspection. This old man would like to ask for your names and origins. Qin Shuangzi did not mention anything about the death of the cultivators of the Cedar Pine clan, as if he did not see it at all. Ningfan secretly guessed that the Qin Nan clan should not have any grudges against the Ming Luo clan. After all, Qin Shuangzi had been watching from the side from the beginning to the end. He did not have the intention to get involved in the grudges between the Ming Luo clan and the Cedar Pine clan. I am the high priest of the Ming Luo clan. My name is Qing Dai. These 2 are friends of my clan. Qing Dai returned Qin Shuangzi's greeting. Her tone was polite, but she did not mention Ningfan and Teng Xianrou's names and origins. She only said that they were friends of the Ming Luo clan. After all, Ningfan was wanted by the Vine Sovereign. Qing Dai did not want to reveal Ningfan's identity to avoid bringing more trouble to him. Seeing that Qing Dai did not mention the background of Ningfan and the others, Qin Shuangzi did not ask too much. He asked a few more questions and let the Azure Sky vessel enter the country. From the beginning to the end, Qin Shuangzi had been treating himself as an outsider. He did not help either the Ming Luo clan or the Cedar Pine clan. However, at the moment when the Azure Sky vessel entered the territory of the country, Qin Shuangzi secretly transmitted his voice to Ningfan and gave him a few pointers. You have killed 3 void refinement realm experts of the Cedar Pine clan today. You have already offended the entire clan. Even though you are a void inquiry stage expert and your abilities are not weak, you are definitely not a match for the 3 void refinement realm experts of the Cedar Pine clan. Among the 12 clans of the Blue Frost clan, the Weizi clan does not have any grudges with the Ming Luo clan, but they have a grudge against the Cedar Pine clan. If you are in trouble, you can seek help from the Weizi clan to resist the Cedar Pine clan. Based on the fact that you have killed 3 void refinement realm experts of the Cedar Pine clan, I'm sure the Weizi clan will be very willing to befriend you. Qin Shuangzi's pointers were obviously to express his goodwill to Ningfan. He was just giving Ningfan a few pointers. There was no loss to him, but it might be of great help to Ningfan. Naturally, Qin Shuangzi was very willing to form a good relationship with Ningfan without paying any price. On the Azure Sky vessel, Ningfan was slightly surprised when he heard Qin Shuangzi's voice transmission. However, he did not say anything. The Ming Luo clan was located in the eastern region of the Blue Frost country. The Azure Sky vessel flew towards the Ming Luo clan at full speed. Qing Dai returned the remaining 30 billion immortal jade to Ningfan. During the 3 days when Ningfan was comprehending the rain intent, she did not manage to purchase the remaining 12 types of void fragmentation realm puppet materials. Her expression was slightly complicated. She wanted to say something but stopped herself. She looked at Ningfan and recalled the kindness he had shown her in the Tang Valley that day. She gritted her teeth and suddenly said, "Big Brother Lu, are you in a hurry to use these puppet materials?" "I am quite in a hurry. You know that I am being chased by the Vine Sovereign. These materials are all used to repair my puppets. If they can be repaired, I will have more power to protect myself." Why are you asking this question? Perhaps I have a way to get these 12 types of void fragmentation realm materials. As for how I am going to get them, please don't ask. Qing Dai gently bit her lips. She owed Ningfan for saving her life. She always felt that she should repay him. Otherwise she would feel uneasy. The materials that Ningfan needed were too rare and precious. Even if she searched the entire Eastern Tree Sea, she might not be able to buy all of them. However, Qing Dai knew that there was a place where she might be able to find the materials needed to repair void fragmentation realm puppets. She had a master. Even though the puppet technique that she practiced was the secret technique of the Ming Luo clan, she would not be able to comprehend such a profound puppet technique without her master's guidance and guidance. Her puppet technique could be ranked among the top 3 in the Eastern Tree Sea. However, compared to her master, it was far inferior. Perhaps her master would have the 12 types of materials needed to repair void fragmentation realm puppets. No, he definitely has them. She had once secretly seen that there were countless extremely rare and precious puppet materials in her master's treasure vault. However, her master had an eccentric personality. He never allowed her to reveal any information about herself. Therefore, she decided to look for her master secretly for Ningfan's sake, and ask for the materials needed to repair void fragmentation realm puppets. However, she did not dare to tell Ningfan about her master's existence as she was afraid of angering him. Big Brother Lu has saved my life, and even helped me retrieve the corpses of the 10 void refinement realm ancestors of the Ming Luo clan. No matter what, I must repay this kindness. Qing Dai did not know that Ningfan's mind-reading technique had already seen through all of her thoughts. This little girl actually has a strange master? Well, it's no wonder. If she doesn't have a master to guide her, it's impossible for her to have such a profound puppet technique. Since Qing Dai is confident that she can help me find the materials needed to repair my puppets, I suppose my Jihua and Purple Lightning puppets can be completely repaired soon. Once they are repaired, I can start to face my tribulation and break through to the Void Pierce stage. The corner of Ningfan's lips curled upwards. The Void Pierce stage was already not far away. In the main hall of the Cedar clan in the Cedar Valley of the northern region of the Azure Cold Country, the 3 old ancestors of the Great Void stage of the Cedar clan were staring at the jade slip in their hands. Their eyes were bloodshot, and they were gnashing their teeth in anger. The Ming Luo clan is really audacious. I don't know where they got 2 Void Inquiry stage experts to help them. They actually dared to kill the people of our Cedar clan. They are just courting death. Quickly inform the old ancestors of the Stone Tree clan, Lei Bai clan and Divine Xiao clan. Tell them that the Ming Luo clan is tired of living. Even that lord cannot be biased towards them anymore. Our 4 clans can mobilize all of our clans to massacre the Ming Luo clan. Chapter 579. The heavenly azure ship sped all the way until it reached the thought-sifting bamboo sea in the eastern region of the Azure Cold Country. It was a boundless sea of bamboo. The air was filled with the fragrance of the Xiang Fei bamboo. The thought-sifting bamboo sea stretched for 4 million li. It was the land where the Ming Luo clan lived. No outsiders lived there. In ancient times, there was no sea of bamboo growing in this place. The native plants were cedar trees. However, after the disappearance of the last Ming Luo tree sovereign countless years ago, all the cedar trees in this place disappeared and were replaced by countless Xiang Fei bamboo. The Ming Luo clan declined generation after generation, but the Xiang Fei bamboo never withered. The bamboo palace, who had been ignoring the decline of the Ming Luo clan, suddenly gave a strange order in the thought-sifting bamboo sea. When the heavenly azure ship reached the periphery of the thought-sifting bamboo sea, Qingdai suddenly stopped the ship and kept it into her storage pouch. Ningfan sensed that there was a strong forbidden force above the thought-sifting bamboo sea. This forbidden force seemed to be aimed at escaping treasures and the escaping light of void fragmentation realm cultivators. It was really strange. Big Brother Lu, my Ming Luo clan lives in this thought-sifting bamboo sea. According to the bamboo palace's order, we can't use the heavenly azure ship when we arrive at the thought-sifting bamboo sea. Otherwise, it will be against the rules of the bamboo palace. The bamboo palace set up such a rule? Ningfan was surprised. Then he understood immediately. The forbidden force that filled the sky was most likely set up by the bamboo palace. Yes. After the disappearance of the last Ming Luo tree sovereign, the Ming Luo clan declined, and this place began to be filled with Xiang Fei bamboo. After that, the bamboo palace set up a forbidden force in this thought-sifting bamboo sea and gave 3 orders. No cultivators are allowed to use large escaping treasures here. Void fragmentation realm cultivators are not allowed to enter the thought-sifting bamboo sea. Other than the Ming Luo clan, no other cultivators are allowed to cut down the Xiang Fei bamboo here. Don't you think these 3 orders are strange? Qingdai smiled mischievously. These 3 orders are indeed very strange. It seems like the bamboo palace is protecting the Ming Luo clan, but it doesn't seem like it. That's right. The bamboo palace has never protected my Nether Luo clan. When my Nether Luo clan was bullied by other clans, no one had ever interfered. Xiang Feizhu is the divine bamboo of the bamboo palace. Perhaps the bamboo palace just wants to protect the sea of bamboo. Qingdai smiled and didn't take it seriously. The Azure Sky ship was restricted by the sky restriction power, so it could not fly into the thought-sifting bamboo sea. Among the 3 of them, Ningfan's cultivation base was at the void inquiry stage while Qingdai's cultivation base was at the void glimpse stage. Tung Xianro revealed her cultivation base to be at the void inquiry stage, but her true cultivation base was at the first heavenly layer of the void fragmentation realm. She was restricted by the restrictive force of this place, and actually could not fly into the sea of thought-sifting bamboos. Liu Bei, I can't fly in. She knitted her brows and secretly transmitted her voice to Ningfan. If she wanted to enter the sea of sifting bamboos, she would have to walk through the 4 million miles of bamboo forest, but she did not know how long it would take. Forget it. You can rest in the cauldron world first and guide the female guards in their cultivation. Ningfan did not give Ting Xianro a chance to refuse. He directly activated his cauldron ring and kept her inside his cauldron world. Appearing in the cauldron world out of nowhere, Tung Xianro revealed an extremely dissatisfied expression. At the instant she appeared, Bingling, Yuling, and the other female guards immediately went up to greet her and called her big sister Qianro. This gold core female cultivator came over and tugged at her clothes, praising the immortal material used to make her clothes. The harmonious spirit female cultivator came over and touched her long hair, praising her for taking good care of it. Of course, there were also a lot of low-level female cultivators who came to ask her extremely low-level cultivation questions. Most of these questions were related to the bottlenecks of harmonious spirit and gold core cultivators. In Tung Xianro's eyes, they were idiotic questions that were not worth answering, but she had to answer them. Ningfan had already told the female guards about how he had subdued Tung Xianro. Of course, what Ningfan did not tell the female guard was that Tung Xianro was a void fragmentation old monster. The female guards didn't know Tung Xianro's cultivation, so they weren't afraid of her and were instead very enthusiastic. Ningfan told them that if they had any questions regarding their cultivation, they could ask Ting Xianro because she knew everything. Tung Xianro had the urge to smash her head against tofu. She was a dignified void fragmentation realm old monster. Why should she answer the retarded questions of a group of low-level cultivators? Is the Jindan round or flat? She had crossed the Jindan realm many years ago. Gold core turned into nascent soul, and nascent soul turned into demon soul. She had long forgotten what a gold core looked like. Besides, anyone with common sense would know that the golden core was round. Who asked such an idiotic question? Harmonious spirit was so difficult. What if you don't want to? If you don't want to, why are you still cultivating? Go home and do some embroidery. Why are you acting cute here? How can I please my master? Wait, why are you asking me these idiotic questions? How would she know how to please Ningfan? She was too lazy to please Ningfan. Why should she please Ningfan? Aggrieved, truly aggrieved. If it was in the past, she would have already slapped the Harmonious Spirit Juniors away when they asked these idiotic questions. Unfortunately, she was now Ningfan's slave. She had to suppress the displeasure in her heart and smile while answering the idiotic questions of the female guards. She felt that her pride as a void fragmentation cultivator was being worn away bit by bit. She felt that she had never felt so aggrieved in her 20,000 years of cultivation. She was shocked and thought, could it be that Ningfan deliberately sent these low-level female cultivators to wear away my pride? He did it on purpose. Tung Xianro wished she could pinch Ningfan into a ball and give him a good beating. However, when she recalled Ningfan's harmless smile, and thought that Ningfan might have purposely sent the female guards to ask these idiotic questions to anger her, she gradually calmed down. She gritted her teeth and swallowed all her dissatisfaction. Then she squeezed out an ambiguous smile and answered the idiotic questions of the female guards. Ningfan wanted to anger her, but she was not angry. She could not let Ningfan's plan succeed. 500 years. As long as I endure these 500 years, I will be free. Tung Xianro really misunderstood Ningfan. The questions of these female guards were all original. They had nothing to do with Ningfan. Some of these female guards were abducted from Yu country, while some were obtained from the Endless Sea. After they followed Ningfan, they no longer needed to fight with others. Their lives were very leisurely and ordinary. Their thoughts were very close to life, just like mortal women. Mortal women, after all, were always concerned with all sorts of problems. The reason why they asked these strange questions was because they had been living too leisurely in the past few decades. Inside the Sea Luo Bamboo Sea, Ningfan and Qingdai were flying side by side. Their spirit sense was spreading far and wide, trying to sense the local conditions and customs of the Sea Luo Bamboo Sea. Only the underworld Civ clan lived in this 4 million kilometer area. Other than the Nether Luo clan, there were actually countless mortals living here. These mortals coexisted harmoniously with the underworld net cultivators, and there was actually nothing wrong with it. The Nether Civ clan had already declined, and the remaining clansmen had experienced glory and disgrace. They were used to the fickleness of human nature in the cultivation world, so they didn't look down on mortals like other cultivation clans. Mortals also knew that there were immortal masters in this world. In their opinion, the underworld sifting clan was the immortal of the sifting bamboo sea. Beneath the dense sea of bamboo, one could occasionally see mortal villages. Between the bamboo fences and thatched cottages where mortals passed by, low-level Mingluo tree demons could occasionally be seen chatting and brewing tea with mortal elders. Such a harmonious scene between immortals and mortals was simply unbelievable in the cultivation world. If the other cultivation clans saw the Nether Raja clan lowering their status to associate with mortals, they would definitely laugh endlessly. However, from Ningfan's point of view, the actions of the Nether Luo clan were in line with the Great Tao. Immortals were people who stood on the mountain. If they were to descend from the Tao mountain, they would be no different from mortals. The reason why he protected the Nether Luo clan was because of the Mingluo tree demon's request. At this moment, he felt some admiration towards the Nether Luo clan from the bottom of his heart. From time to time, there would be an old woodcutter who was cutting bamboos in the sifting bamboo sea. When he raised his head and saw Ningfan deliberately slowing down his traveling light, he would wave his hand to greet him. This was originally very common in the mortal world. There was no need for a reason to show goodwill between people. However, in the cultivation world, if someone showed goodwill to him for no reason, Ning Fan would certainly think twice to see what the other party was planning. Ning Fan's expression changed. He yearned for this kind of life where he didn't have to scheme against others. However, he could no longer return to the past and become immortal. In order to descend from the Tao Mountain and turn from an immortal to a mortal, one would at least need to have a cultivation base that reached the peak. At that time, no matter if you want to be a cultivator or a mortal, no one would dare to provoke you. Once you embark on the path of cultivation, you could only keep moving forward before you reach the peak. Even if the Nether Luo clan lived in this place and got along well with the mortals on the surface, they were being bullied and humiliated by the other tree clans. The cultivation world was after all not a paradise. No matter how peaceful it pretended to be, there was always a sea of blood behind it that could not be concealed. The sifting bamboo sea was only 4 million li wide. Even if Ning Fan deliberately slowed down his traveling light, it did not take him too long to reach the central region of the Sea of Bamboos. At the center of the Sea of Bamboos, there was a huge emerald green bamboo city. On top of the city, there was a plaque with 3 words written on it: Sifting Bamboo City. Outside the Sifting Bamboo City, there was a group of gold core realm guards clad in tree armor. As soon as they saw a cultivator flying towards them with an extremely loud traveling light, the group of gold core realm guards immediately became nervous. Currently, the Nether Luo clan no longer had any friends. If a high-level cultivator were to come, he would certainly be a troublemaker. The few gold core realm guards exchanged glances with each other, and were about to take out their spirit arrows to sound the alarm. At this moment, Qing Dai's comforting laughter that carried a hint of majesty entered the ears of the guards, and even every corner of the entire Sifting Bamboo City. "It's me. I'm Qing Dai. I'm back." Normally, she would lower her head in front of Ning Fan. However, in front of these low-grade clansmen, she was quite dignified. Qing Dai and Ning Fan withdrew their traveling light and landed outside the Sifting Bamboo City. As soon as the guards saw that it was Qing Dai who came, each of them immediately revealed a respectful expression and bowed to her. "We, the members of the Nether Luo clan, greet the High Priest." 6 rays of traveling light flew out from the Sifting Bamboo City and landed at the city gate like smoke. They turned into 6 divine transformation realm old men, who were clad in tree armor. Among the 6 old men, only 2 of them were mid-divine transformation realm cultivators, while the rest were early divine transformation realm cultivators. As soon as they saw Qing Dai, the 6 of them bowed to her. "We, the priests of the Nether Luo clan, welcome the High Priest back. Grandpa Gu Luo, Grandpa Su Luo, you 2 can dispense with the formalities. Qing Dai can't bear your kowtow." At first, Qing Dai still had a dignified expression on her face. However, when she saw the 2 mid-divine transformation realm old priests, her eyes immediately turned red as if she had seen her family members. After her mother passed away, these 2 old men treated her like a junior and nurtured her step by step to become the high priest of this generation. She would never forget their kindness for the rest of her life. As soon as Qing Dai said to dispense with the formalities, all the people of the Nether Luo clan rose to their feet. Priest Gu Luo and Priest Su Luo looked at Qing Dai. Their murky eyes were filled with gratification and joy. "It has been 10 years since the High Priest left Sifting Bamboo City this time. I suppose it must be very tiring for you to travel for 10 years. This time, you should stay at home for a few more days and go out to look for the remains of our ancestors later." Priest Gu Luo looked at Qing Dai's travel-worn face and could not help but feel a little distressed. For all these years, he and Su Luo had always treated Qing Dai as their granddaughter. If it wasn't for the sake of looking for the remains of their ancestors, they would definitely not let Qing Dai go out to explore the world. This time, I can stay in Sifting Bamboo City for a few more days. I have found all the remains of the 10 Void Refinement Realm ancestors. It was Big Brother Lu who helped me find them. What? All the remains of our ancestors have been found. Gu Luo's face turned pale with fright. Big Brother Lu? Su Luo was a cautious person. He squinted his old eyes and carefully looked at Ning Fan, who was standing beside Qing Dai with vigilance. The other 4 Divine Transformation Realm priests also carefully looked at Ning Fan with a solemn expression. These divine transformation realm cultivators could not sense Ning Fan's qi at all. Ning Fan's qi was deep and restrained. Obviously, his cultivation realm was far beyond their imagination. Gu Luo also put away his surprised expression and looked at Ning Fan with a vigilant expression. At the same time, he secretly transmitted his voice to Su Luo. This person is unfathomable. He is at least at the void glimpse stage. No. More than that. Even though he did not reveal his qi, his hidden aura force is much stronger than Qing Dai's. This person is probably a void inquiry stage old monster. Su Luo analyzed. What? Void inquiry stage? If this person harbors evil intentions towards our Ming Luo clan, we won't be able to resist him. Gu Luo was shocked. This time it was fear. Ning Fan saw everyone's subtle expressions. He knew that his arrival had scared the members of the Ming Luo clan. My name is Liu Bei. I was entrusted by an old friend to protect the Ming Luo clan. This is the token. Ning Fan patted his storage pouch and took out the Blackwood token to show it to the 6 priests. The moment they saw the Blackwood token, the demon blood of the 6 divine transformation realm priests boiled. Each of them wore a shocked expression. Tree Sovereign Token. They did not call it the Blackwood token but the Tree Sovereign token because it was the token of the past Tree Sovereigns of the Ming Luo clan. This item had disappeared along with the disappearance of the last Ming Luo Tree Sovereign. Why would it appear in Ning Fan's hands? This item was given to me by the last Tree Sovereign of the Ming Luo clan. He is not dead yet. Ning Fan's voice was very soft. He did not use telepathy but used a divine ability to make his voice so soft that only Qing Dai and the 6 priests could hear him. The other gold core realm guards could not hear him. His words were like a huge stone that was thrown into the middle of a lake, immediately causing a huge wave. The 6 priests were shocked. Even Qing Dai covered her mouth with her hands in shock. Ning Fan had never told her where he got the Blackwood token from but now, he said it out loud. The last Ming Luo Tree Sovereign who had gone missing was actually not dead. This news was too shocking, too puzzling, and too unbelievable. How many tens of thousands of years had passed since the last Tree Sovereign went missing? No one could remember. What kind of person could live for such a long time? Could it be an immortal? Why did the last Tree Sovereign not send any news to the clan after he went missing? Even Qing Dai found it hard to believe Ning Fan's words. However, after Ning Fan activated the Blackwood token and forced out a trace of the Tree Sovereign's blood from it, everyone could feel the aura force coming from it. Thus, no one doubted Ning Fan's words anymore. There was no mistaking this bloodline aura force. It definitely belonged to the Tree Sovereign of the Ming Luo clan. Moreover, the qi of this blood was very dense. It had been sealed in the Blackwood token for no more than a year. This was the strongest evidence that the last Ming Luo Tree Sovereign was still alive. Since the last Tree Sovereign was still alive, his intention of giving the Blackwood token to Ning Fan was self-evident. Ning Fan was someone worthy of the trust of the Ming Luo clan. Ning Fan was the new Tree Sovereign who was conferred the title of the last Tree Sovereign. The handing over of the Blackwood token meant that the position of the Tree Sovereign would be passed on. Gu Luo, Su Luo and the other 5 priests wished they could immediately kneel down in front of Ning Fan and address him as the Tree Sovereign. However, when they saw Ning Fan's eyes that rejected them, they immediately stopped their kneeling posture. Ning Fan did not want others to know that he was the current Tree Sovereign who held the Blackwood token. If this matter is spread out, no one knew if there would be old monsters in the tree world who would make things difficult for Ning Fan because of the Blackwood token or his identity as the Ming Luo Tree Sovereign. Big Brother Liu, let's go into the city and talk about it in detail. This isn't a good place to talk. Qing Dai reminded him softly. Ning Fan nodded his head and followed Qing Dai and the others into Si Luo City. However, the moment he entered the city, he suddenly turned his head and revealed a strange expression. Was it an illusion? He shook his head and muttered to himself. Millions of li away, a gigantic xiangfei bamboo suddenly let out a soft whimper. The whimper was very soft. It was obvious that it had not stopped even though it was already late at night. Mu Luo is still alive. He is still alive. I knew that he wouldn't die so easily. He still owes me a pot of wine and a promise. He won't die so easily. Mu Luo was the name of the last Ming Luo tree sovereign. This name had once spread across the tree world. But now, only a lonely Xiangfei bamboo still remembered it. It was because he still owed her a pot of wine and a promise. The hollow bamboo had a soul dwelling. The root of the soul was in the heart of the bamboo. The root of the soul and the heart of the bamboo were inseparable. If there comes a day when I kill all my enemies, I'm willing to give up my position as the tree's sovereign and bring you to live in seclusion in a desolate mountain that no one knows about. At that time, there will only be moonlight above our heads. Other than a pot of wine, there will only be you by my side. I will never abandon you in this life. On a desolate mountain in Yu country in the Rain world, the clone of the Ming Luo tree demon was sitting in a lonely pavilion outside the grass hut on the mountain. He was looking at the boundless moonlight above his head. He took a pot of wine from the table and drank alone. There was no sadness, no distress, no other expression on his face. There was no smile on his face. His heart had already become barren. It had been ravaged by time, and there were no longer any emotions left. There was only the figure of a woman that could not be erased. He did not forget that promise. He was finally no longer the Ming Luo tree sovereign. However, he could no longer return to the tree world. As for her, she must have already turned into dust and passed away. In this life, he would never be able to fulfill that promise. In this life he would never see her again. I'm sorry. The Ming Luo tree demon closed his eyes and sighed under the moonlight. No one heard him. Chapter 580. Ning Fan simplified the matter of obtaining the 10 Ming Luo puppets to the few Ming Luo priests. Of course, he did not tell them about the fact that he had killed the returning Essence Tree King to avoid scaring the underworld Raja race. He briefly told the story of how he met the Min Luo Treant. He only said that the Min Luo Treant was trapped in the Rain world, and did not mention anything about the Dark Sparrow's grave. Gu Luo, Su Luo, and the other priests all had tears in their old eyes. They wouldn't cry when the underworld Luo clan was bullied. When 100,000 of their clansmen perished because of Qing Dai, they would never be able to enter the reincarnation cycle. However, when they heard that the last tree emperor was still in the mortal world, they could not help but cry tears of joy. Their ancestors were still alive and with them. Now it was all good. Gu Luo suggested heading to the Rain world to rescue the tree emperor, but this suggestion was rejected by Su Luo and the other priests. The last tree emperor had been unable to escape for so many years. Clearly, it was extremely difficult for him to escape. With their insignificant cultivation, not to mention the fact that it was impossible for them to go to the Rain world. Even if they went there, they would definitely not be able to save the tree emperor. Instead, they would expose the fact that the tree emperor was still alive. The matter of rescuing the last tree emperor could only be discussed at length. At this moment, their top priority was to quickly summon all the members of the Nether Rakshasa clan in the Sea Luo Bamboo Sea to return to the clan, and attend the funeral of the 10 Void Refinement Realm ancestors. Night gradually fell. In the illusory graveyard in the center of Sea Luo City, a huge wooden frame was set up and a bonfire was lit. The so-called illusory grave was the burial ground of the Nether Raja clan's past clansmen. Countless underworld Luo clansmen rushed back to Sea Luo City from all over the Bamboo Ocean. Underworld Luo clansmen were busy everywhere in the city, preparing for the funeral of their 10 ancestors. Gu Luo, Su Luo, and the other priests, along with Qing Dai, the Grand Priest, were all busy preparing for the funeral. Ning Fan, on the other hand, seemed to have nothing to do and began strolling around the city. Now, all the members of the Ming Luo clan knew that Ning Fan was a void inquiry stage cultivator and a friend of their clan. Therefore, no one stopped him from walking freely in the city. The illusory grave was lit with incense of various colors. Even if Ning Fan walked to the western part of the city, he could still smell the strong scent of incense. He walked alone in the night sky lit up by the bonfire. His heart was unprecedentedly peaceful. He had heard about Qing Dai's past from the 6 priests. 1,000 years ago, when Qing Dai was still young, her mother, who was the high priestess, died at the hands of the Cedar clan. Within 1,000 years, a total of 100,000 members of the Nether Civ clan sacrificed their own cultivation base, to condense a cultivation pill for Qing Dai to consume at the cost of having their souls scattered, and never being able to enter the cycle of reincarnation for eternity. It allowed Qing Dai to finally break through to the void glimpse stage. The 100,000 Underworld Azura clan members didn't hesitate to give up their lives for the Underworld Azura clan to prosper, but for the sake of retrieving their ancestors' remains. They didn't want their ancestors' remains to wander outside. The 10 Ming Luo spiritual puppets all had void glimpse stage cultivation base. To the Ming Luo clan that had fallen into decline today, they were a powerful combat force. If these 10 void glimpse stage spiritual puppets were used to protect the Nether Luo clan, given Qing Dai's puppet techniques, it would definitely be enough to turn the Nether Luo clan into a first-rate force in the Azure Cold Country again. They would no longer be bullied by the other tree clans. However, the people of the Underworld Seaver clan were very, very stupid. They undid the puppet formation of the 10 puppets and destroyed the 10 puppets, leaving only 10 ordinary corpses without any combat power. Then he buried the corpses of these ancestors. They are stupid, but I don't dislike it. The night breeze was slightly cold. Ning Fan closed his eyes and recalled the past of the Hu clan in Yu country. In order to protect his clan, Hu Fengzi didn't hesitate to disperse his soul and transform it into a cultivation pill. The 100,000 members of the Underworld Seaver clan didn't hesitate to disperse their souls in order to retrieve their ancestors' remains and bury them. There was never a lack of smart people on the path of cultivation. Any old monster who had gone through a sea of blood was an intelligent person. On the path of cultivation, there was always a lack of stupid people. Despite knowing that it was impossible, despite knowing that there was a mountain of knives and a sea of fire in front of him, for the sake of protecting his obsession, he still did not hesitate to die. He did not betray justice. Even if there were millions of people, he would still go forward. They knew that everything they were doing was meaningless, but they still stubbornly searched for a result. They knew that going against the heavens would lead to trepidation at every step, but they still smiled for her sake. They would rather betray the heavens than betray them. Those who were too smart and calculative would usually not be happy. The faces of Jihe, Mu Xiaoyang and the other girls appeared in front of Ning Fan's eyes. Suddenly he smiled knowingly. If these silly girls had his protection, perhaps their hands would not be stained with blood for the rest of their lives, and they would live happily ever after. Great wisdom appears to be slow-witted. Great skill appears to be clumsy. Great sound is silent. Great elephant is formless. Great abundance is like rushing. Great debate is like being slow. Great generosity is like being bent. Great accomplishment is like being incomplete. This was the purest great Tao. When a superior scholar hears the Tao, he must diligently follow it. When a mediocre scholar hears the Tao, he must either live or die. When a lowly scholar hears the Tao, he must laugh. If he does not laugh, he will not be able to attain the Tao. The people of the world laughed at the stupidity of the Underworld Raja clan, but they didn't know that the Underworld Raja clan's actions were in line with human ethics and compatible with the great Tao. If everyone could understand the Underworld Raja clan's Tao, then this Tao wouldn't be considered a great Tao. Ning Fan took out the blood wine gourd and gulped down a mouthful of wine. Then he suddenly turned his head to look at the huge bonfire in the center of Si Luo City. His eyes became deeper and deeper. The extreme of the great Tao was the opposite. The extremity of great reality turned into nothingness. Throughout Ning Fan's path of cultivation until now, he had seen the void as void in the beginning. Later on, he saw the void as not void, and in the end, he still saw the void as void. However, at this moment, his eyes were clearly looking at reality, but the will in his eyes was illusory. He had gradually comprehended the void and corporeal intents. His comprehension of the void pure stage was already sufficient, and he had almost completely comprehended the absolute void stage. He looked at the bonfire in the illusion grave from afar, and watched as the corpses of the 10 void refinement realm old ancestors were gradually burned into ashes. He saw the 320,000 members of the Underworld Raja clan kneeling on the ground. Their eyes were filled with tears as they sincerely prayed and offered sacrifices to the bonfire. My Underworld Raja clan was born as a tree. Our roots are rooted in the ground. Where our roots are is our country. Our country can be destroyed. Our roots can be burned. Our bodies can be destroyed and our Tao can vanish. Only our ancestors are not to be bullied or defiled by others. After 10,000 years of calamity, the bones of our ancestors were scattered. Thinking about it makes my heart ache. Our descendants are unfilial. I swear that I won't be satisfied until I kill 10,000 of them. Our descendants swear in the illusion grave that even if all 320,000 members of our clan die, we will definitely kill 10,000 of them. If we violate this oath, we shall be killed by the heavens. That vast oath was powerful and resonant, causing ripples to form in Ning Fan's heart. Under the bonfire, Qing Dai, who was dressed in luxurious clothes, danced around the bonfire barefooted and prayed devoutly. Her eyes were filled with nostalgia for her ancestors. Her dancing posture was just too beautiful. She was just like a dancing green butterfly. The corner of Ning Fan's mouth curved into a smile. He lifted the gourd of blood wine and drank a few mouthfuls of it. His eyes became clearer as he watched Qing Dai's dancing posture. Her dancing posture was real while her nostalgia for her ancestors was illusory. The bonfire was real while the voices of the oath that melted in the bonfire were illusory. The corpses of the 10 ancestors were real. When their corpses turned into ashes in the blazing flames, the sorrowful cries of the ancestors that reverberated across the entire Siluo city were illusory. Ning Fan bent his palm and drew a bamboo leaf from one of the Xiang Fei bamboo. That bamboo leaf was real. However, as Ning Fan exerted his palm force, the bamboo leaf gradually turned into a cloud of illusory green qi. As Ning Fan willed it, the illusory green qi turned back into the bamboo leaf again. Illusory and real were decided by a single thought. Ning Fan threw the bamboo leaf back into the soil. He closed his eyes and his body gradually faded in the darkness of the night. Gradually, his physical body turned into nothingness, as if it had disappeared into the night. That was the transformation of his physical body into nothingness. It was a complete transformation. When he was at the void inquiry stage, Ning Fan had also transformed his physical body into nothingness. However, he had not reached this stage yet. At this moment, thanks to this trip to the Siluo Bamboo Sea, his comprehension of the word void was completely perfected. As long as he had enough magic power, he could break through the bottleneck of the void pierce stage and attain the absolute void stage. With a thought in his mind, his body gradually reappeared in the boundless night. There was no sadness or joy on his face. He was calm and composed as if attaining the absolute void stage was a matter of course, and he was not surprised at all. Silly little brother, you have already broken through to the absolute void stage. If you have enough magic power now, you can break through to the absolute void stage in one go. However, I have to remind you that the biggest obstacle for you to break through to the absolute void stage isn't comprehension or magic power, but the heavenly tribulation. If you are not fully prepared, you must not go through the tribulation rashly. The heavenly tribulation this time will certainly be stronger than the previous one. There is an 80 to 90% chance that it will be the Yin tribulation. Luo Yu chuckled in his mind and reminded him. I understand. Thank you. Ning Fan returned a smile to Luo Yu. Usually, Luo Yu seemed to be indifferent to him. She purposely kept a distance from him and did not talk much with him. However, every time she saw him in trouble, she would show concern and remind him. Even though Luo Yu avoided him in all aspects, she was not necessarily heartless towards him. After all, what kind of hatred did she have that could make her run away from her emotions like this? Boom! The wooden frame of the bonfire in the center of Siluo City suddenly let out a loud bang. It was shattered by a huge palm imprint that fell from the sky. The ashes of the fire scattered in the night sky. The ashes of the 10 Void Refinement Realm corpses also dispersed along with the wind. In the vast sky above, the sneers of the 3 old men suddenly resounded. The Ming Luo clan is really stupid. They clearly found the Void Glimpse stage spiritual puppets of their 10 ancestors, but they destroyed them and cremated their ancestors. How stupid. If there are 10 Void Glimpse stage experts in the Ming Luo clan, I'm afraid we would have to lose more people after we massacred them today. However, the 10 Void Glimpse stage spiritual puppets have already been destroyed. There are only the Void Glimpse stage high priest and 2 Void Inquiry stage experts left in the Ming Luo clan. They are not worth mentioning at all. How dare a declining clan like the Ming Luo clan kill the people of my Snow Pine clan? They are simply courting death. Before the three sneers stopped, an army of nearly 1 million gold core realm cultivators suddenly descended from the sky above Si Luo City. These cultivators were divided into 4 clans with 4 huge flags: Snow Pine Clan, Stone Tree Clan, Thunder Cypress Clan, and Divine Joe Clan. The 3 people who were sneering were the 3 ancestors of the Cedar Clan. They were all great void cultivators. The fact that they managed to expose the matter of the void glimpse stage spiritual puppets and so on showed that they had already investigated the background of the underworld Luo clan before they came to the thought-sifting Bamboo Sea. They had come prepared, and this time, they wanted to annihilate the Nether Raja clan in one go. Even that lord, whose soul had turned into bamboo and whose life was no better than reincarnation, could not stop the 4 clans' determination to destroy the underworld net. Who is the madman who killed my child? Get the hell out here! Beside the 3 old ancestors Snowpine, a middle-aged man dressed in a silver robe roared angrily. He was a void pierce stage cultivator and the current clan leader of the Snowpine clan. His name was Ao Wang. Ao Chun, the young lord of the Snow Song sect whom Ningfan had killed, was his son. The Cedar clan and the other 3 tree clans descended abruptly, mobilizing 1 million cultivators. Among them, there were 30 void refinement cultivators. There were 11 void glimpse stage cultivators, 7 void inquiry stage cultivators, 6 void pierce stage cultivators and 6 absolute void stage cultivators. All the high-level cultivators of the 4 clans were mobilized to participate in the bloodbath of the underworld Luo clan. Only the low-level cultivators were left in the clans. Qing Dai, Gu Luo, Su Luo, the other priests and the 320,000 members of the underworld Luo clan raised their heads and looked at the 1 million cultivators in the night sky. Their eyes were filled with rage. Their ritual to worship their ancestors was destroyed by the cultivators of the 4 clans. The ashes of their ancestors were scattered by the 4 clans, and it was difficult to retrieve them. Even though they knew that the other party had a large number of experts, the members of the underworld Luo clan were still filled with righteous indignation. Immediately, hundreds of members of the underworld Luo clan ignited their demon cores and demon nascent souls and soared into the sky, wanting to perish together with the cultivators of the 4 clans. They could endure being cursed, bullied and ridiculed by others. They did not care. However, their ancestors were bullied and their ashes were scattered by others. How could they endure it? How could they endure it? You've gone too far. Ao Wang, the clan leader of the Snowpine clan, sneered coldly in the sky. He stomped on the ground with the tip of his foot, and an ocean of void immediately appeared in the night sky. He lifted his finger and pointed. The physical bodies of the hundreds of members of the underworld Luo clan who soared into the sky exploded, turning into blood mist and dissipating in the air. How dare mere gold core realm and nascent soul realm ants fight against me? You're simply overestimating your own strength. Currently, the only ones in the underworld Luo clan who can make me look them in the eye are the 2 void inquiry stage cultivators. Even your void glimpse stage high priest Qing Dai is just an ant in my eyes. I'll count to 3. If the void inquiry stage maniac who killed my son still doesn't show himself, I'll immediately order a bloodbath of the underworld Luo clan. 1. 2. Before Ao Wang could count to 3, a sword chime that sounded like a dragon's roar suddenly resounded in the sky. In the night sky, a white-robed young man who was stepping on a huge black sword formed by his sword sense suddenly appeared in the night sky. Before Ao Wang could see the young man's face clearly, the young man and the sword sense beneath his feet actually shattered at the same time. For an instant, Ao Wang seemed to have seen the white-robed young man turn into black robe strangely. However, it was also like an illusion and he could not see it clearly. At the next moment, a sword sense that was as black as ink swept across the night sky. Before the 1 million gold core realm cultivators of the 4 clans could react, they were already killed by the sword sense. In an instant, 200,000 to 300,000 cultivators had died. The old ancestors of the 4 clans were all absolute void realm experts. The Snowpine clan had 3 absolute void realm experts while the other 3 clans had 1 each. The 6 absolute void realm experts acted at the same time, and blocked the sword sense that swept across the night sky. Only then did they prevent more low-grade clansmen from dying. The 6 of them suppressed their anger. Before they could attack the white-robed young man, they saw countless black shadows suddenly appearing beside Ao Wang. The ink shadow shattered and condensed, forming a vast killing force that strangled Ao Wang within the ink shadow. When the black shadows dispersed, Ning Fan, who was dressed in white robes, held Ao Wang's primordial spirit in his hand. His eyes were filled with boundless baleful qi as he coldly glanced at the cultivators of the 4 clans. With just a glance, even the 6 absolute void realm experts of the 4 clans felt an unconcealable sense of fear. I am Liu Bei. I am the one who killed the young clan leader of your Snow Pine clan. What can you do to me? As soon as Ning Fan finished his words, the entire vast sky fell into dead silence. At the next moment, a void refinement realm cultivator, who had just returned from the North Tree Sea, suddenly exclaimed, "He is Liu Bei. He is the madman that the Vine Sovereign has captured. He actually escaped to my East Tree Sea." Chapter 581. This young man is actually wanted by the Vine Sovereign? All the Void Refinement Realm experts present were stunned. Their eyes were filled with surprise. Even though they had never seen Ning Fan's arrest warrant with their own eyes, they had more or less heard some rumors about him. Today, the matter of Liu Bei offending the Vine Sovereign was getting more and more serious in the tree world. According to rumors, among the subordinates that the Vine Sovereign sent to kill Liu Bei, 4 absolute void stage experts were confirmed dead and 1 void fragmentation realm expert went missing mysteriously. Many people suspected that the disappearance of this void fragmentation realm expert was caused by Liu Bei. For a time, Liu Bei's name gradually spread in the tree world. Even some absolute void stage cultivators did not dare to underestimate him. Old ancestor. I'm afraid this person is Liu Bei. I've seen his arrest warrant before. This person's appearance is exactly the same as him. He has the strength to kill absolute void stage experts. We shouldn't offend him. We must think about the matter of annihilating Ming Luo. The void refinement realm expert who exclaimed just now was a member of the Snow Pine clan. He was at the void glimpse stage. The reason why he spoke now was to persuade the old ancestor to keep the peace. The 3 grand voids of the Snow Pine clan shouted angrily, "Nonsense! This young man is just a void inquiry stage cultivator. How can he kill an absolute void stage expert? This young man is certainly not the Liu Bei that the Vine Sovereign wants. There's no need to say anything more. Today we will definitely annihilate Ming Luo. No one can stop us." Among the 3 grand voids, the one in green robe stepped forward and glared at Ning Fan. His name was Ao Long. His strength ranked 2nd among the grand voids. "Junior, return Ao Wang's primordial spirit to me, and I can take you as my slave and spare your life. Don't try to resist me. With your mere void inquiry stage cultivation base, you are just like an ant in the eyes of absolute void stage cultivators like me. I can destroy you with a lift of my finger." Ning Fan's sword sense had killed 300,000 gold core realm cultivators. His abilities were strange and he instantly killed the void pierce stage patriarch of the Snow Pine clan, Ao Wang. Ning Fan's hurried gaze seemed to contain boundless killing intent. In Ao Long's eyes, Ning Fan was just a void inquiry stage ant whose strength was comparable to a void pierce stage expert. As an old ancestor of the great void stage, he naturally had his pride. How would he put a nobody like Ning Fan in his eyes? When the cultivators of the 4 clans saw Ao Long personally coming forward to confront Ning Fan, each of them calmed down. The panic that was caused by Ning Fan's sudden appearance had already subsided. The members of the Ming Luo clan raised their heads. When they saw Ning Fan facing the army of the 4 races alone, they were filled with admiration, gratitude and worry. The eyes of the 6 priests were solemn. In order to protect the glory of their ancestors, they were willing to risk the destruction of their entire clan, and fight to the death against the cultivators of the 4 clans. However, Ning Fan was just an outsider. He was a friend who came to protect the Nether Luo clan under the request of the last tree sovereign. Now that the Nether Rakshasa clan had encountered a great calamity, there was no reason for them to send their friends to their deaths. The 6 priests did not think that Ning Fan could face the experts of the 4 clans alone. After all, there were 6 Grand Void Stage experts in the 4 clans. Even if Guiyuan Taishi were to encounter such a lineup, he would also have to retreat. Qingdai bit her lips with her pearly white teeth. She had witnessed Ning Fan killing the Guthuan Tree King in the Tang Valley with her own eyes. She naturally knew how strong Ning Fan was. It was just that the 4 races of the Snow Pine clan had sent out too many people, and their combat strength was superimposed. It was obvious that they were even more difficult to deal with than the returning Essence Tree King. Qingdai was also a little worried. Ning Fan was not a match for the cultivators of the 4 clans. Her eyes flashed with determination. She decided to do her best to help Ning Fan fight against the strong enemies together. At this moment, Ning Fan's irresistible order resounded across the entire Si Luo city. With my order, the entire Si Luo city will immediately activate the Grand Formation and form a defensive formation. No one is allowed to leave the city to fight. I alone am enough for this battle. Ning Fan was not being conceited. Instead, he was confident. With his current cultivation base and Teng Xianrou, it would be a piece of cake for him to annihilate the 4 clans alone. He already had a good impression of the Ming Luo clan. He did not want the low-grade cultivators of the clan to get involved in this battle and lose their lives in vain. He was entrusted by the Ming Luo tree spirit to protect the Ming Luo clan. With him here today, the 4 clans of the Snow Pine clan must be annihilated. His order went into the ears of Qingdai and the 6 priests. The 7 of them showed signs of struggle. They wanted to help Ning Fan, but they did not dare to disobey his order. The low-grade members of the clan did not know, but they did. Ning Fan was the current Ming Luo tree sovereign. The members of the Ming Luo clan could not disobey his words. Activate the Grand Formation. Priest Su Luo sighed and ordered his clansmen to activate the defensive Grand Formation of Si Luo City. Qingdai clenched her fists tightly and stared at the night sky reluctantly. She had never hated herself for being weak. If she was a little stronger, she would not have been forced to stay in the city by Ning Fan, and she would have been able to fight alongside him. Now, she was just a burden to Ning Fan in a battle of this level. Seeing that the Grand Formation of Si Luo City was activated, Ning Fan's last trace of worry also disappeared. Even though the Ming Luo clan had declined, the Grand Formation that protected the clan was set up by the first tree sovereign and strengthened by generations of tree sovereigns. Now the power of the formation was greatly reduced. However, it would not be easy for even the returning Origin Great Void stage to invade the city. Ning Fan could go all out and start a massacre on this very night. He almost ignored old ancestor Ao Long's threat. He casually sealed Ao Wang's primordial spirit and kept it in his storage pouch. Without even looking at Ao Long, he took a step forward. His white robe suddenly turned black. His long hair danced wildly in the night sky. He raised a finger and pointed at old ancestor Ao Long from afar. He had dual cultivated with Teng Xianrou in his sea of consciousness, and his divine sense was infinitely close to returning to the Great Void. At this moment, he had transformed into a Psyche Soul incarnation. His cultivation was already infinitely close to the returning to Essence Great Void without the need to use the soul extraction technique. It was comparable to the strength he had when he killed the returning to Essence Tree King. This finger was a fusion of sword sense and rain will, which he had learned from Teng Xianrou's sword sense. Teng Xianrou was a sword cultivation genius. In order to strengthen the power of her sword sense, she fused her concept power into her sword sense. Ning Fan's sword sense was not weak and his rain intent was even stronger. Just his rain intent alone could melt a void inquiry stage cultivator. As he pointed with his finger, the sword perception immediately turned into a sky blue color. It was as if it was indifferent. Under the moonlight, it suddenly spread out above the sea of bamboo. The combination of the will of rain and the sword sense was the rain sword. The million rain sword swept across the night sky towards old ancestor Ao Long. In an instant, old ancestor Ao Long turned pale with fright. Impossible. This young man was still at the void inquiry stage just a moment ago. How did his cultivation base reach the return of primordial void stage in just an instant? This kid's sword will is so strong. Ao Kong, Ao Mia. Help me quickly. Even though old ancestor Ao Long was shocked, he did not panic. While retreating rapidly, he waved his hand and summoned a golden book. The pages of the golden book flipped in the wind. Countless golden runic characters spread out from the book and collided with Ning Fan's million rain sword. After he asked for help, the other two great voids from Xuesong sect also stepped forward to help old ancestor Ao Long out of shock. Old ancestor Ao Kong waved his hand and summoned a purple banner which contained 400 million souls. With a hand seal, the 400 million souls flew out from the banner and condensed into a gigantic great void stage ghost in the night sky. Then he raised his hand and punched at the million rain sword. Old ancestor Aomia opened his mouth and spat out a ray of silver cold light. It was a cold light divine ability of the peak mortal void stage called the primordial snow ray. A trace of this snow ray could freeze an unrivaled void pierce stage cultivator to death. The three great void stage experts attacked at the same time. All of their divine abilities collided with the million rain sword. A deafening explosion resounded through the night sky. The million rain sword was completely shattered. Cracks appeared on the golden book. The gigantic great void stage ghost was forcefully dispersed and the primordial snow ray was shattered by the million rain sword. The three great void stage experts barely managed to block the attack from Ning Fan's million rain sword. However, all of them coughed out a mouthful of blood, and each of them took 100 steps back in the vast sky. Ning Fan, on the other hand, still wore a calm expression. The difference in strength between the two of them was obvious. Today, Ning Fan was able to repel three great void stage experts with a single attack just by summoning his Sense Soul incarnation without using any of his trump cards. Seeing that the three great void stage experts from Si Luo City were still in a disadvantageous position after attacking Ning Fan at the same time, be it the members of the Ming Luo clan in Si Luo City, or the cultivators of the Snow Pine clan and the other three clans, all of them turned pale with fright. No one expected that Ning Fan was actually such a strong expert. An ordinary great void stage expert could not fight against him at all. He's definitely Liu Bei. He's definitely him. Only a cultivator with this kind of strength could kill the four great void stage subordinates of the Vine Sovereign. Only then would he be able to carry out a sinister plot and cause Palace Lord Zitung's whereabouts to be unknown. The Void Glimpse stage cultivator of the Snow Pine clan who exclaimed in surprise earlier exclaimed once again. The three old ancestors of the Snow Pine clan hurriedly consumed some pills to stabilize their injuries. Then they exchanged glances with the three great void stage experts from the other three clans. All of them could see the fear in each other's eyes. Ning Fan was strong. Extremely strong. If they knew that the Ming Luo clan would invite such a level of help, the four clans would definitely not have made the plan to massacre the Ming Luo clan so recklessly. Now, however, since the four clans had already invaded the Ming Luo clan and completely shed all pretenses of cordiality with the Ming Luo clan, it was certainly impossible for both sides to stop and make peace. Judging from Ning Fan's expression, he did not look like a person who would let things go peacefully. Now, our four clans are in a difficult position. The only thing we can do is to gather everyone's strength and work together to eliminate this young man. If we can kill him, the remaining members of the Ming Luo clan will no longer be a threat. If we can't, our four clans will certainly be massacred by him. Let's attack together and kill this young man. Old ancestor Shizhan of the Stone Tree clan, old ancestor Lei Tong of the Thunder Cypress clan, and old ancestor Qiao Gong of the Divine Qiao clan all had resolute looks in their eyes. They took a step forward and stood beside the three old ancestors of the Snow Pine clan. 6 great void stage experts joined hands while there were still 700,000 low-grade clansmen standing in a formation beside them. Moreover, there were also 23 void refinement realm experts launching a sneak attack. Putting aside the fact that Ning Fan's cultivation base was only close to the primordial returning great void stage, even if Ning Fan was a true primordial returning great void stage cultivator, it would still be difficult for him to fight against 4 enemies with 2 fists. He would not be able to withstand the joint attacks of the cultivators of the 4 clans. The 700,000 cultivators of the 4 races lined up in the night sky and took out their array flags, forming a huge 4-colored array formation under their feet. All of a sudden, A gigantic four-colored hand reached out from the formation diagram and threw a punch at Ning Fan. The power of that punch was comparable to an absolute void stage attack. 11 Void Glimpse stage experts, 7 Void Inquiry stage experts and 5 Void Pierce stage experts each activated their strongest trump cards, launching attacks at Ning Fan from all directions. The 6 Great Virtual Realm Cultivators used all their trump cards. Their divine abilities lit up the night sky. With everyone attacking together, even Guiyuan Taishi would have to retreat. Ning Fan's eyes flickered with cold light. His 5 fingers reached out to the ground and the hollow space respectively, pulling out the Earth Soul and Void Soul, and swallowing them. He didn't need to retreat. Now that he had unleashed his full strength, his battle prowess was above that of an ordinary origin returning Great Void Cultivator. His aura force surged like raging waves. His black robes fluttered like thunder in the wind. At this moment, his aura force broke through the Guiyuan Taishi realm. Moreover, his magic power was 30% stronger than ordinary Guiyuan Taishi realm cultivators. How is this possible? The 6 Great Virtual Void stage experts were shocked. At this moment, Ning Fan displayed his divine ability. He formed hand seals with all 10 of his fingers, and a gigantic fire diagram appeared under his feet. Suddenly, millions of black fiery butterflies appeared in the night sky and danced in the night sky. The millions of fiery butterflies merged into one, forming a gigantic fiery butterfly with a pair of wings that covered the sky. Its wings were like clouds that covered the sky. Its breath was like the fire that could burn the heavens. Its eyes that could resist samsara ignored immortals and mortals. It was not even afraid of immortal emperors. Void Flame Realm. Ning Fan changed his hand seals and the fiery butterfly flapped its wings. Black flames and smoke swept across the vast sky. With a single move, all the divine abilities of the cultivators of the 4 races were destroyed by the butterfly flames. With the first wave, 700,000 cultivators were burned to ashes. All 11 Void Glimpse stage experts died. With the second wave, 7 Void Inquiry stage experts were burned to ashes before they could even react. With the third wave, 5 Void Inquiry stage experts screamed in agony. All of them lost their lives. With the fourth wave, 6 Void Inquiry stage experts could not even escape from their demon souls and primordial spirits. All of them were buried under the butterfly flames. The fourth wave was enough to severely injure the primordial returning Tree King. How could an ordinary Void Inquiry stage expert withstand it? Today, Ning Fan's spirit sense had improved tremendously. His strength had increased tremendously, and his comprehension of the void had also improved tremendously. With his current strength, he would at most be weakened for a period of time after displaying the fourth wave of the butterfly flames. He would no longer suffer any injuries from the backlash. If his cultivation base improves further, he would be able to display the fifth wave of the butterfly flames. By then, he would certainly be invincible in the primordial returning Great Void stage. With the first move of the void flame, the butterfly flames burned the sky. All the cultivators of the 4 races were turned into ashes. Thick layers of corpse ashes fell from the sky, covering the ground of Si Luo City. The scene was extremely terrifying. None of the 320,000 members of the Ming Luo City dared to speak loudly. At this moment, Ning Fan's powerful figure was firmly reflected in the eyes of all the members of the Ming Luo City. This figure was exactly the same as the previous Ming Luo tree sovereigns. Each generation of tree sovereigns was a peerless expert who fought against the world alone. Big Brother Lu is so powerful, so powerful. Qing Dai secretly heaved a sigh of relief. Then her eyes lit up. Initially, she was worried that Ning Fan would be in a tough battle when he fought against the cultivators of the 4 races alone. Now it seemed like her worries were unnecessary. In the Si Luo Bamboo Sea, the thickest Xiang Fei bamboo in the dense forest echoed softly with a melancholic voice of praise. Is he the person that Mu Luo invited to protect the Ming Luo clan? His back view is really similar to Mu Luo's. In the past, Mu Luo also dominated the tree world all by himself. He fought against 10,000 enemies and swept across the 4 seas of trees. In the night sky, Ning Fan felt a little weak. With a flick of his sleeve, he kept all the spoils of war that filled the sky into his pouch. Under the fourth wave of the butterfly flames, the storage pouches of many fallen cultivators were destroyed. Those that were not destroyed were all taken away by Ning Fan. After killing so many cultivators, countless Dao fruits naturally formed. Ning Fan also took them away one by one. He even got a Void Refinement Realm Dao fruit. Later on, he prepared to lead the members of the Ming Luo clan to massacre the four races. After this night, the four races would no longer exist in the Azure Cold Country. As for Ning Fan, he would probably have no choice but to become infamous in the Eastern Tree Sea. Ning Fan did not descend to the ground immediately. He was also not in a hurry to disperse his incarnation and soul-extracting ability. Suddenly, his eyes darkened and he looked at a dark cloud in the night sky. Who are you? You have been hiding here for a long time. Are you going to massacre the Ming Luo clan with the cultivators of the four races? Killing intent flashed across Ning Fan's eyes. Immediately, a muffled groan came from behind the dark cloud. Then, an old monster who was infinitely close to the returning Origin Great Void Realm staggered and revealed himself. He wore purple robes and his wrinkled face was filled with a bitter smile. As soon as he appeared, he immediately cupped his fists at Ning Fan and said, I am the old ancestor of the Weizi clan Wei Feng. I came here today with no ill intentions. Fellow Taoist, please don't misunderstand. There were two reasons why old ancestor Wei Feng came here. Firstly, he had always been at odds with the Snowpine clan. Tonight, he wanted to cause trouble and ruin the plan of the four races to massacre the Ming Luo clan. If he really could not prevent the Ming Luo clan from being annihilated, it would be a good thing if he could sneak an attack on the old ancestor of the Snowpine clan and injure one or two Xuesong Taishu experts. Secondly, he was requested by the Bai Li clan's leader to give Ning Fan an item. Oh, so it's old ancestor Wei Feng of the Weizi clan. I've heard a lot about you. After knowing the identity of the person who came, the hostility in Ning Fan's eyes gradually faded. He had already heard from the great elder of the Qinnan clan that the Weizi clan and the Snowpine clan did not get along. Today, the reason why the old ancestor of the Weizi clan came to the thought-sifting bamboo sea was probably not because of the Ming Luo clan, but the Snowpine clan. The enemy of my enemy is my friend. Even though Ning Fan did not treat old ancestor Wei Feng as a friend, there was no need for him to treat him as an enemy. Fellow Taoist Lu, you must be joking. This old man has been admiring you for a long time. I received news that the Snowpine clan will gather the forces of the four races to massacre the Ming Luo clan tonight. That's why I'm hiding here. I want to save some of the Ming Luo clan's members at the crucial moment. It can also be considered as a kind gesture to the Ming Luo clan. Of course, I also have another purpose in coming here. I was asked by someone to give fellow Taoist an item. Old ancestor Wei Feng's words sounded nice, but Ning Fan naturally would not believe all of them. After hearing that old ancestor Wei Feng was asked to give him something, Ning Fan's eyes flashed slightly. As soon as old ancestor Wei Feng finished speaking, he took out a jade box from his storage pouch and flicked it to Ning Fan. Ning Fan took the jade box. When he saw the item inside, his eyes narrowed slightly. He took out the item and scanned through its contents. His eyes became even more solemn. Fellow Taoist, may I ask what is the meaning of this item? It was a letter of challenge. It was a letter of challenge from the Bai Li clan. Chapter 582. Ancestor Wei Feng had only come to deliver something on behalf of the Bai Li clan. He had no idea that the item he was delivering was a battle invitation. As soon as Ancestor Wei Feng heard that the item in the jade box was actually a duel invitation from the Bai Li clan, he revealed a look of surprise and hurriedly explained, Please don't misunderstand, fellow Taoist. This old man has some friendship with the Bai Li clan. That's why I sent the jade box to them. I didn't know that there was a duel invitation in it. He cursed the entire Bai Li tribe in his heart, thinking that the Bai Li tribe was cheating him. In the tree realm, war invitations were usually only given to enemies who were irreconcilable enemies. Once the letter of challenge was issued, life and death would be decided. Since the Bai Li clan had issued a battle invitation to Ning Fan, they naturally harbored the intention to kill him. Moreover, they did not even try to conceal it. If your Bai Li tribe wants to deal with someone, Then why did you send Wei Feng to deliver the challenge? If Ning Fan becomes displeased with this invitation, he Wei Feng would directly become the scapegoat of the Bai Li clan, and would have to bear Ning Fan's wrath. If old ancestor Wei Feng didn't know Ning Fan's true strength in the past, he wouldn't be afraid of him. However, on this night, old ancestor Wei Feng witnessed Ning Fan annihilating the cultivators of the 4 clans with his own eyes. That terrifying butterfly flame caused old ancestor Wei Feng's heart to palpitate as a chill seeped into his bones. The combat power that Ning Fan displayed was much stronger than an ordinary primordial returning void stage expert. After knowing Ning Fan's true strength, old ancestor Wei Feng would never dare to offend him. He hurriedly explained, trying his best to draw a clear line between himself and the Bai Li clan. He did not want Ning Fan to hate him along with the Bai Li clan. Seeing that Wei Feng did not seem to know anything about the duel invitation, Ning Fan asked him a few more questions. All of them were related to the Bai Li clan. In order to express his goodwill to Ning Fan, Wei Feng naturally told him everything he knew. After some discussion, Ning Fan waved his hand, signaling Wei Feng to leave. Wei Feng was the great void patriarch after all. Who would dare to order him around on a normal day? Now that Ning Fan asked him to leave, he immediately cupped his fists and bade farewell, as if he had just been pardoned. He was unwilling to stay any longer in this troublesome place. After Wei Feng left, Ning Fan stared at the battle invitation in his hand with a gloomy expression. Bai Li clan, what is the meaning of this? There was only one word in the letter. It was the word die written in blood ink. It contained boundless killing intent, as if it would not stop until it killed Ning Fan. This letter of challenge was personally issued by the Bai Li tribe leader. Since the Bai Li clan sent this invitation, it seemed like they wanted to openly tell him that they wanted to kill him. From the looks of it, the Bai Li clan was extremely arrogant. They wanted to kill someone, and they even told that person that they were going to kill that person without concealing their killing intent. Ning Fan knitted his brows. Is the Bai Li clan really just trying to show off by sending someone to deliver the letter of challenge? Or could it be that this letter of challenge was a warning to Ning Fan not to help the Fusang clan compete for the position of the 8th elder? There must be a reason for the Bai Li clan to harbor killing intent against him. He had never interacted with the Bai Li tribe, so he could only think of 2 reasons why the Bai Li tribe hated him. Firstly, the Bai Li clan had somehow found out that old demon Fusang had been looking for him. Secondly, it was possible that old demon Fusang purposely spread the news to make the Bai Li clan view him as an enemy, forcing him to accept the recommendation to participate in the election of the 8th elder. Secondly, the Bai Li clan and the Ming Luo clan had an old grudge against each other. When they found out about the relationship between him and the Ming Luo clan, they wanted to kill him. Both of these reasons made sense, but there was still something suspicious about the matter of the Bai Li clan purposely sending the letter of challenge. Why did the Bai Li clan ask the Wei Zi clan to send me a letter of challenge? It seems like they are hinting at something. The Bai Li clan is the strongest person below the void fragmentation realm in the Eastern Tree Sea. I asked Wei Feng about his personality. According to him, he is cold-blooded. If he hates someone, he will never show mercy and kill without hesitation. Moreover, he is a decisive person and never has the habit of sending a letter of challenge in advance. He isn't an arrogant and brainless person. If he wants to kill me, he wouldn't send a letter of challenge on purpose. Ning Fan kept the letter of challenge and the jade box with a solemn expression. Perhaps the Bai Li clan leader sent me a letter of challenge on a whim, and the reason he wants to kill me could be one of the 2 reasons. Perhaps there's more to this matter. No matter what, since the Bai Li clan has sent the letter of challenge, it will be difficult for me to avoid the battle between me and them. I have to go to the bamboo hall eventually. At that time, I will certainly have to fight the Bai Li clan. Before I fight the Bai Li clan, my spiritual puppets must be repaired and my cultivation base must be improved to be safe. If an ordinary cultivator received a letter of challenge all of a sudden, they would either be fearful or angry. Ning Fan, however, thought about it a little more. He could sense the strange qi that this matter was giving off and became vigilant. He temporarily put the matter of the Bai Li clan behind him. He patted his storage pouch and took out 30 gigantic ships. All of them were the treasures that he had obtained from killing people in the past. Members of the Ming Luo clan, listen to my command. Follow me to fight Han Song and annihilate the 4 clans. Ning Fan was going to lead the 320,000 members of the Ming Luo clan to annihilate the 4 clans, including the Snow Pine clan. At the same time, he was going to plunder all the resources that the 4 clans had accumulated for countless years, and use the resources of the 4 great void forces for him to improve his cultivation base alone. As soon as they heard Ning Fan's command, countless members of the Ming Luo clan felt their blood boiling. They turned into rays of light and flew to the ships. They had been bullied and humiliated for a long time. Even though they did not resist, it did not mean that they did not hate them. In the past, when the Snow Pine clan invaded the country, they killed Mother Qingdai, who was still the high priest, and countless members of the Ming Luo clan. The members of the Ming Luo clan had never forgotten this grudge. Now that the Ming Luo clan had Ning Fan's support, who in the entire Azure Cold country would dare to offend the Ming Luo clan? The 30 ships that carried the 320,000 members of the Ming Luo clan left during the night, and returned the next day. When everyone returned, the Snow Pine clan, the Lei Bai clan, the Stone Tree clan and the Divine Xiao clan were completely annihilated. The news spread in the Azure Cold country overnight. The entire country fell into a state of panic. Liu Bei, who was being chased by the Vine Sovereign, was actually protecting the Ming Luo clan in the Azure Cold country. The 4 great void forces that intended to massacre the Ming Luo clan were annihilated by Liu Bei alone in a single night. 30 Void Refinement Realm cultivators from the 4 clans, including 6 Great Void Stage cultivators, had all died in Liu Bei's hands. Countless forces spread the news to each other with deep fear. Quickly inform all the cultivators of the clan. Right now, the situation is very tense. If there is no need, do not leave the clan. Even if you have to leave the clan, you must never provoke the Ming Luo clan. The Ming Luo clan is no longer a second-rate tree clan that can be bullied by anyone. The 4 clans of the Snow Pine clan were the ancient tree clans of the Azure Cold country. Their foundation was unfathomable. After destroying the lairs of the 4 clans, the spoils of war that Ning Fan obtained were extremely shocking. Heavenly ingredients and earthly treasures, pills, cultivation methods, secret techniques and spiritual puppets were all there. There were 6 Void Glimpse stage spiritual puppets and 3 Void Inquiry stage spiritual puppets. Ning Fan gave all of them to Qingdai to protect the Ming Luo clan. To him, most of the low-grade items were already useless. Thus, he left them all for the Ming Luo clan. He took away 220 billion immortal jade, 12,000 Dao crystals, 9 Void Refinement Realm Dao fruits, 1 Void Fragmentation Realm Dao fruit, and 42 types of 6 Revolution pill recipes that were unique to the tree world. All the pills that could improve the magic power of the Void Inquiry stage, and the Golden Body, as well as spiritual herbs that were 50,000 years and above, were also taken away by Ning Fan. Each of the mid-grade 6th Revolution Serene Grass pill could increase a Void Inquiry stage cultivator's magic power by 2,000 units. There were a total of 20 bottles with 10 pills in each bottle. The high-grade 6th Revolution Divine Bamboo pill could increase a Void Pierce stage cultivator's magic power by 10,000 units. There were a total of 12 bottles with 10 pills in each bottle. The high-grade 6th Revolution Azure Bone pill could greatly improve a 3rd-level Golden Body Refinement Realm Body cultivator's cultivation base. There were a total of 5 bottles with 10 pills in each bottle. A Barbaric Dragon Tree and 9 Barbaric Dragon Fruits. This Barbaric Dragon Tree was the greatest treasure of the Snow Pine clan. This tree blooms once every 500 years and bears fruit once every 500 years. Each time, it could bear 12 Barbaric Dragon Fruits. Each of the Barbaric Dragon Fruits could greatly improve a Body Refinement Realm Body cultivator's cultivation base at the Golden Body Refinement Realm. According to Ning Fan's estimation, devouring a Barbaric Dragon Fruit could increase 100,000 units of Essence Qi at least. If he were to recklessly waste this precious treasure, devouring the entire Barbaric Dragon Tree could directly increase his Essence Qi by 1 million units. The last time the Barbaric Dragon Tree bore fruit was about 100 years ago. There were still 900 years before the next time it bore fruit. Ning Fan did not have time to wait for the tree to bear fruit again. He had already decided to refine this tree along with its roots. According to his estimation, with the resources of the 4 great void forces, it was more than enough for him to break through to the void pierce stage and late reckless devil realm. As for breaking through to the absolute void realm, he still lacked a lot of magic power. Thus, he decided not to think about it for the time being. This time, he had established his prestige in the Azure Cold Country. Presumably, no one in the country would dare to offend the underworld Luo clan anymore. He had already decided to go to the Bamboo Palace and find the ancestral tree fruit to break through to the first grade divine intent. However, before he leaves, he needed to repair his spiritual puppets and break through to the void pierce stage. Time flew by. Half a month had passed. Ning Fan entered the Yuanyao world alone and sat inside the dark golden pagoda. He used immortal jade, spiritual ores and spiritual materials to make mortal void realm formation discs in preparation for his tribulation. As for Qing Dai, after she had settled the miscellaneous affairs of the underworld Luo clan, she quietly left Si Luo City to search for the last 12 types of materials to repair his spiritual puppets for Ning Fan. She wanted to look for her master who was hiding in the Si Luo Bamboo Sea. Ning Fan did not monitor Qing Dai, nor did he plan to pry into her master's secrets. Half a month in the outside world was equivalent to 5 years in the 7th floor of the pagoda. During these 5 years, Ning Fan had spent more than 200 billion immortal jade to make 500 mortal void realm formation discs. Among them, nearly 100 formation discs were the high-grade mortal void realm formation discs, which could withstand the lightning tribulation. Heavenly Fire Lightning Defense Formation. There were also nearly 100 formation discs which were the high-grade mortal void realm formation discs which could withstand the fire tribulation. Profound Ice Fire Defense Formation. The remaining 300 formation discs were the peak mortal void realm formation discs, which could withstand the wind tribulation. Divine Dipper Wind Destruction Formation. The heavenly tribulations below the void fragmentation realm were divided into 3 forms: lightning tribulation, fire tribulation and wind tribulation. Ning Fan possessed the steel of sun and moon, and had condensed the Taisu lightning star. Thus, he was not afraid of the lightning tribulation and fire tribulation. As for the wind tribulation, it was the most powerless. The wind tribulation that the Pill Sovereign summoned the other day made Ning Fan personally experience how terrifying the wind tribulation was. He strongly suspected that the heavenly tribulation that would befall him this time would be the wind tribulation. Therefore, most of the formation discs were set up to defend against the wind tribulation. Other than that, he had also spent a lot of time to forge a magic treasure which could withstand the tribulation. 1 stripe wind calming bead. The materials used to forge the wind calming bead were obtained from the layers of the 4 great forces of the Great Void Realm. The wind calming bead was a kind of magic treasure that could only be used once. Its materials were very rare and precious. It was greatly helpful in resisting the wind tribulation, and was sought after by many void fragmentation old monsters. The lowest air frozen bead had 1 pattern, and the highest had 9 patterns. The 1 stripe wind stabilizing pearl could greatly offset the wind tribulation of a cultivator at the first heavenly layer of the void fragmentation realm. It was worth more than 50 billion. A 2-striped wind calming bead was extremely rare. Even Ning Fan couldn't find the materials to refine it. It was said that in the Earth Immortal realm of the 9 realms, a 3-stripe air-frozen bead had been auctioned off, causing countless old monsters to fight over it. In the end, the 3 stripes frozen wind pearl was bought by a void fragmentation realm expert of the mountain world for 310 billion immortal jade. As a result, the moment that void fragmentation realm expert of the mountain world left the auction house, he was besieged and killed by a few void fragmentation realm experts. His 3 stripes wind stabilizing bead was then taken away. Ning Fan took a deep breath. In order to transcend the tribulation this time, he had made thorough preparations. Even if he really encountered the wind tribulation, he was confident that he could survive it. All he needed to do now was to wait for Qing Dai to bring back the materials to repair the 2 void fragmentation realm spiritual puppets. Ring ring ring. In the storage bag, a light green sound transmission tablet emitted a clear sound. It was a common type of sound transmission magical treasure in the tree world. Ning Fan took out the sound transmission tablet and made a few hand seals. Immediately, Qing Dai's mellow voice sounded like pearls falling on a jade plate. Big Brother Liu, I have found the last 12 types of materials for the spiritual puppets. But what? Ning Fan asked with a smile. But I have hidden one thing from you. Actually, I have a master. These materials were all given to me by my master. That. On the other end of the sound transmission tablet, Qing Dai's voice was hesitant like a child who had done something wrong. That. My master wants to meet you. She said that she wants to ask you for a favor. If you can help her complete this task, she will give you a great opportunity. Oh? Your master wants to meet me? Fine. I also want to see what kind of expert is able to teach such an outstanding puppet master like you. Ning Fan kept the sound transmission tablet and kept all the formation discs into his storage pouch. With a flash, he left the Yuanyao world. In the outside world, outside Luo City, Qing Dai had just kept the sound transmission tablet. At the next moment, a breeze brushed past her and Ning Fan's white-robed figure appeared. Let's go. Take me to see your master. Chapter 583. At dusk, the night breeze blew through the bamboo forest, and the bamboo leaves rustled. The sun fell between the mountains and rivers, revealing only a fragment of its afterglow. Qing Dai led the way at the front while Ning Fan followed behind her at a slow pace. He didn't ask any questions about Master Qing Dai. He just felt the faint longing and sadness in the bamboo forest. When he first entered the thought-sifting bamboo sea, he did not pay attention to Xiang Feizhu. Now that he was stepping into the depths of the bamboo sea, he could feel that each of the Lady Xiang bamboo here was filled with a trace of sorrow. From time to time, Qing Dai would move forward in small steps. Sometimes, she would transform into a beam of light and travel thousands of miles. Ning Fan followed closely behind her. Gradually, they were already 1 million li away from Luo City. The Xiangfei bamboos here were obviously much thicker than those in other places. Occasionally, there would be 1 or 2 Xiangfei bamboos that contained a very faint bamboo divine intent. The deeper he went, the more Xiangfei bamboos that contained the divine will of bamboo. This was a bamboo forest that was rarely visited by people. The ground was piled with thick bamboo leaves. In the deepest part of the bamboo forest stood a gigantic Xiangfei bamboo. Qing Dai stopped in front of the gigantic bamboo while Ning Fan's eyes turned cold. From this giant bamboo, he felt a heavy sense of oppression. The divine intent of bamboo contained within this giant bamboo was unimaginably vast. And it was absolutely a first-grade bamboo intent. Under this boundless bamboo intent, Ning Fan felt as if his body was about to be assimilated and turned into a Xiangfei bamboo. A dark gold snowy light flashed in his eyes as he urged the power of the memory concept to resist the pressure of the first-grade bamboo intent. Junior Liu Bei greets Senior. Ning Fan cupped his fists at the gigantic bamboo. He could tell that the divine intent of bamboo was just unconsciously given out by the gigantic bamboo. It did not have any malicious intent. Otherwise, it would be difficult for him to resist the first-grade bamboo intent of the giant bamboo, even if his memory intent realm had reached the second step, because he did not have a deep understanding of the memory intent realm. Since Qing Dai brought him to see this giant bamboo, it was very likely that this giant bamboo was Qing Dai's master. Second step concept? That's right. I'm Qing Dai's master. Qinger, you go back first. I have something to say to Liu Bei. Yes. Qing Dai didn't dare to disobey her master's order. She bowed to the giant bamboo and left. Before she left, she secretly sent a voice transmission to Ning Fan. Big Brother Liu, she is my master. My master is a good person. You don't have to be afraid. She won't make things difficult for you, trust me. Qing Dai turned into a rainbow and returned to Luo City. After Qing Dai left, a layer of faint green light suddenly appeared on the giant bamboo. Within the green light, a beautiful woman in green with a slightly illusory figure walked out from the giant bamboo. She looked to be in her 30s. Her appearance was mature and beautiful. Her brows were clear and cold, and there was a hint of majesty hidden within. She was dressed in a green silk dress, and her hair was coiled up high with a green jade hairpin inserted into her hair bun. Her aura was oppressive, and there was even a faint imperial aura flowing within her body. Her bamboo will was even more powerful. However, she did not have a trace of magic power in her body. Her entire body was nothing more than an illusory remnant soul. It was as if his soul would dissipate at any moment. I'm Yu Huang. I asked Qing to find you because I want to ask you about Mu Luo's whereabouts. Secluded bamboo. Ning Fan's expression visibly changed. Obviously, he had heard of this name before from the Ming Luo tree spirit. The Ming Luo tree spirit once wanted to ask Ning Fan to look for Yu Huang. However, he did not finish his sentence and just let out a long sigh. As for Mu Luo, it was the name of the Ming Luo tree spirit. The tree spirit had also told Ning Fan about this. Even though Ning Fan did not know the relationship between Yu Huang and Mu Luo, he could vaguely guess that Yu Huang was an extremely important person to Mu Luo. Perhaps, this woman was the love of Mu Luo's life. Has he mentioned me to you before? Is he still well? Is he really still alive? Yu Huang's expression was as calm as still water. All of her facial expressions had been dried by the wind of time. However, under those calm words, there was a longing that could not be erased by life and death. Longing for Mu Luo. Ning Fan was vaguely sure that Yu Huang and Mu Luo were a couple without a doubt. He once heard that the Sea of Bamboo appeared after Mu Luo went missing. He could imagine that after Mu Luo went missing, Yu Huang must have been waiting for him at this place day after day until he died. Mu Luo turned into an old tree. That was the tree transformation technique that he created himself. It was a heaven-defying divine ability of immortality. Yu Huang turned into a sea of bamboos. The sea of bamboos was born because of her bamboo intent. It was infused with all of her longing. However, this divine ability was not the transformation of a tree. Yu Huang didn't know about the heaven-defying divine ability of tree transformation. She had already died during the long wait. The remnant soul in front of him was the last trace of her fragrant soul that was attached to the Xiangfei bamboo. It had no magic power or divine ability. All she had was her longing for him day after day. Mu Luo was old and Yu Huang was dead. As for this trace of Yu Huang's remnant soul, it had already lost the possibility of entering the reincarnation cycle because of her stubbornness in staying in this world. She couldn't leave this sea of bamboos. Once she leaves, this last trace of her remnant soul would vanish. Senior Mu Luo is very good, but he can't leave the rain world. He's trapped in the rain world while I'm a cultivator of the rain world. Ning Fan sighed slightly and told her everything about how he met Mu Luo in detail. Yu Huang listened quietly. Her eyes were as calm as still water, as if nothing could disturb her mood. However, her trembling hands that were hidden in her sleeves had betrayed her true feelings. She was very excited. When she heard from Ning Fan that Mu Luo was still alive, she couldn't help but feel excited. It was just that when she heard that Mu Luo couldn't leave the Dark Sparrow's grave for the rest of his life, and his incarnation could only move around Yu country, Yu Huang's eyes were finally filled with sorrow. It was as if all her faith and hope had collapsed at this moment. Is he not coming back? I've turned into a xiao bamboo here and waited for him in the wind and rain for 2 million years, just to see him again, but in the end, I can't see him anymore. My remnant soul can't leave the sea of bamboos in this life. His old body can't leave the Dark Sparrow's grave in this life. We'll never meet again. The most beautiful thing in the world is to have a pair of lovers in one generation. The cruelest thing in the world is to miss each other, but not to marry each other. Yu Huang closed her eyes painfully. She just wanted to see Mu Luo again. Why was it so difficult? The bamboos in the entire sea of bamboos began to wither and wither in the twilight. Yu Huang's remnant soul became more illusory and haggard because of sorrow. The hollow bamboo had a soul residing in it. The soul was rooted in the heart of the bamboo. The reason why the remnant soul could ignore the reincarnation and reside in the bamboo was because of its persistence. If the heart was sad, the bamboo would perish and the soul would die. Happy to know each other again. Sad not to be separated forever. My heart was like a bamboo, longing for you to return. My body had turned into the sea and you didn't know. That day, I closed my eyes in the fragrant mist of the bamboo palace, and suddenly heard the mantra in your chanting. That month I shook all the sutras, not to release souls from purgatory, but to touch your fingertips. That year, I turned into the everlasting sea of bamboos, not to have an audience with you, but to wait for the warmth of your late return. That life, I endured 2 million years of loneliness and abandoned the next life, just to see you again in this life. But we will never meet again in this life, but you owe me happiness. What can you use to make up for it? You still owe me a pot of wine and a promise. Gradually, Yu Huang calmed down her sorrow and regained her cold expression. She slowly opened her mouth and said, "Fellow Taoist, can you promise me a request? Don't tell Mu Luo that my remnant soul is still in this world." After hearing Yu Huang's request, Ning Fan was startled at first. Then he seemed to have understood something and sighed softly. If Mu Luo could break free from the shackles of the Dark Sparrow's grave, if Mu Luo could turn back into a human from a tree, he could return to the tree world and reunite with Yu Huang, but it was too difficult. If Yu Huang wasn't a remnant soul, if she didn't attach her soul to the bamboo, she could also leave the tree world and head to the rain world to see Mu Luo again. Under normal circumstances, they would never meet again in this life. However, Ning Fan remembered that Mu Luo had once told him that if Mu Luo risked his life, he could burn his demon soul and leave the Dark Sparrow's grave in a short period of time. If Mu Luo knew that Yu Huang was waiting for him here, he would certainly risk his life to return to the tree world to meet her. Therefore, Yu Huang begged Ning Fan not to tell Mu Luo that her remnant soul was still alive. She was worried that Mu Luo would do something stupid. However, if she had to give up her life just to see Mu Luo once, she would definitely not hesitate to do so. "No, I want to tell Senior Mu Luo that the woman he loves is still alive. Although it's only a remnant soul, we can still stay together in this life," Ning Fan suddenly said. "What? You can't say that. If you say that, Mu Luo will surely..." Yu Huang was shocked. Just as she was about to plead, Ning Fan waved his hand and said, "Senior Yu Huang doesn't need to worry. In fact, I have a way to let you meet Senior Ming Luo. It's a very safe way. No one will die." "Impossible. I can't leave the Sea of Bamboo and Mu Luo can't leave the Dark Sparrow's grave. We will never meet again." "No, there is a way. It's just that ordinary people can't think of it. Maybe they can think of it, but they can't do it." Ning Fan smiled faintly, took out the blood umbrella magical treasure and said, "I have a small Kiliacosm spatial treasure here. If Senior is willing to leave the tree world, I can move the entire sea of Ming Luo bamboos within this spatial treasure and bring it back to the rain world." Of course, most people wouldn't think of using this kind of trick to dig away the sea of bamboos that the secluded bamboo had turned into, and even the land was taken away. Moreover, even if someone thought of this method, they wouldn't be able to move the entire sea of bamboo that covered an area of 4 million kilometers. Ordinary cultivators from the tree world couldn't even reach the rain world. An ordinary grotto heaven magic treasure would not be able to contain the 4 million miles of bamboo sea. Only a small Kiliacosm cosmos treasure could contain the entire sifting bamboo sea. However, there were not many void fragmentation realm experts in the 9 worlds who possessed a small Kiliacosm cosmos treasure. A small Kiliacosm treasure contained a small Kiliacosm. The realms of the 9 realms were only at the level of a small Kiliacosm. Generally speaking, only the mighty figures of the 4 heavens would have a small Kiliacosm treasure. It was already rare for a lower realm cultivator to have a damaged minor 1000 treasure. Yu Huang covered her red lips and stared at Ning Fan's blood umbrella in disbelief. She was certain that Ning Fan's blood umbrella magic treasure was a rare small Kiliacosm cosmos treasure, which contained a small Kiliacosm. Ning Fan's method was feasible. However, if he wanted to take away all of the land within 4 million kilometers, he would need a lot of magic power and cultivation. Even a cultivator at the first heavenly layer of the void fragmentation realm would only be able to cast their techniques within 1 million li. With Ning Fan's current cultivation base, even if he goes all out, he could at most collect 700,000 li of the Sea of Bamboo in one go. If he couldn't collect the 4 million miles of bamboo sea in one go, the remnant soul of the Yu Huang would definitely dissipate. In order to achieve a range of 4 million li, one must at least possess the cultivation base of the void fragmentation realm. Ning Fan's method was indeed feasible. However, as of now, he could not take away the entire thought-sifting bamboo sea, and he could not bring her to see Muluo. This method is very good, but your cultivation base isn't enough to move the entire sifting bamboo sea. But I can wait. When you break through to the 5th heavenly layer of the void fragmentation realm one day, bring me to the rain world to see Muluo. Yu Huang sighed softly. With my cultivation, it is indeed not enough for me to collect the entire sifting bamboo sea in one go. However, if a large formation was set up and the power of the formation was used to cast spells, this problem could be easily solved. Senior Yu Huang can rest assured, I have full confidence in this matter. The only problem is that this formation covers an area of 4 million kilometers. It's too wide, so it's not suitable to set it up. Furthermore, the requirements for the formation were strict, and there was no room for error. Therefore, if I want to perfectly set up the formation and cover the entire sifting bamboo sea, I will need a long time. When this formation is completed, I will use this umbrella to collect the entire sifting bamboo sea and bring it back to the rain world, so that the two of you can reunite. This way, I can repay Senior Muluo's kindness in protecting my hometown. Ning Fan kept the blood umbrella and looked at the secluded bamboo with a faint smile. Yu Huang used to be the previous bamboo sovereign of the bamboo palace. He had a calm temperament. However, after hearing Ning Fan's plan, he could not help but feel a little happy. At first, when she heard that Muluo had gone missing, she only waited for a long time. 2 million years later, when she found out from Ning Fan that Muluo was still alive, she was extremely excited. She thought that the result she had been waiting for had finally arrived. However, when she heard that she would never be able to see Muluo again, she began to feel sad again. Now that Ning Fan had a way to bring her to Muluo, she was naturally very happy. After a brief moment of joy, she remembered that the reason why she asked Ning Fan to come here today was to bestow him a fortune. Muluo was a demon cultivator, while the underworld sifter clan was a tree demon. Yu Huang, on the other hand, was a divine cultivator. She was almost the divine cultivator with the strongest bloodline in the history of the tree world. Coincidentally, the bamboo ancestor bestowed her with his blood, which allowed her to condense half a drop of divine blood. She had a bright future ahead of her. However, for Muluo, she gave up some of her cultivation base, fortune, life and bloodline and turned into a sea of bamboo to wait for Muluo's return. She could no longer use any of her magic power. However, she had once possessed half a drop of the ancestral blood of an earth god after all. With the connection between the ancestral blood, she sensed a drop of ancestral blood that had yet to be refined from Ning Fan's body. It was the natal blood rain that the rain ancestor had bestowed upon him. If Ning Fan refines this blood rain and turns it into his divine blood, Yu Huang would not be able to sense it. Unfortunately, Ning Fan had yet to refine this blood rain. That was why she could barely sense it. The reason why I asked you to come here today was to give Muluo face. I wanted to help you refine the ancestral blood of the divine race. Now that you are willing to help me meet Muluo, I will certainly help you refine this blood to repay this kindness. Yu Huang's eyes were solemn and firm. Ning Fan, on the other hand, was slightly stunned. Before he came here, Qing Dai had told him that her master would bestow him some fortune. Even though Ning Fan was already mentally prepared, he did not expect that the fortune that Yu Huang would bestow upon him would actually help him refine the blood rain of the rain ancestor. If Ning Fan's rain intent breaks through to the 1st grade, he would be able to refine this drop of blood rain with his own ability. Currently, his rain intent had yet to reach the 1st grade. However, with Yu Huang's help, he would naturally be able to refine the blood rain. Ning Fan was busy preparing for breaking through to the void pierce stage. As soon as his spiritual puppets were repaired, he would begin to break through to the void pierce stage. Refining the blood rain was not part of his plan. If refining the blood rain was included in his plan, he did not know how much his cultivation base would increase. Perhaps, this time he would not only be able to break through to the void pierce stage, but also the absolute void stage in one go. If his cultivation base breaks through to the absolute void stage in one go, the other problem would no longer be a problem. With Ning Fan's absolute void stage cultivation base after breaking through, His magic power was almost infinitely close to the void fragmentation realm with the help of his incarnation and soul extracting technique. With this level of magic power, the difference in cultivation base between him and a void fragmentation realm spiritual puppet would not be too big. Thus, the lifespan consumed by using the life imprisoning technique would be greatly reduced. It would be fine if the heavenly tribulation does not appear this time. However, if it does appear, I wonder if I can break through to the absolute void stage in one go. Chapter 584. Breaking through to the void pierce stage was just around the corner. Within the 4 million li radius of the Sea Luo Bamboo Ocean, Ning Fan had determined that there were 50,000 formation eyes within it. There were 50,000 formation eyes, and if the formation was successfully set up, it would be a high-grade immortal void realm formation that covered the sifting bamboo sea. It was his first time setting up such a grand formation with his own hands. Fortunately, this immortal void realm formation was not used for defense, nor was it used to attack. It was only used to take away the sea of sifting bamboos. Moreover, there was no need to consider the number of times the formation could be used. As long as it was a one-time formation light, it was not difficult to set it up. After Ning Fan calculated the number of formation eyes, he was no longer in charge of setting up the formation. The entire Ming Luo Tree clan began to obey Ning Fan's order. They held the formation map drawn by Ning Fan, and filled each of the formation eyes with 500,000 immortal jades. Ning Fan had spent a total of 25 billion immortal jade to set up this single-use grand formation. It was indeed a huge sum of money. The range of the formation was too wide, and even if all 320,000 underworld Raja clansmen were mobilized, they still spent an entire month to set up the entire grand formation. During this month, Qing Dai was in charge of repairing the puppets. Yu Huang's soul body was illusory and could only guide verbally. Her puppet skills were very exquisite, and she was the best in the tree world when she was alive. With her guidance, Qing Dai's success rate in repairing the puppet increased a lot. Guang Hanzi, on the other hand, was in charge of refining several hundred types of puppet materials and doing some menial work to assist Qing Dai. After determining the formation eye, Ning Fan entered the dark golden pagoda of the Yuan Yao world to make some final preparations for breaking through to the void pierce stage. The first was to refine the void piercing pill, and the void piercing pill to increase his chances of advancing to the next realm. The second method was to concoct a large number of void reinforcing pills. This was a type of high-grade 6th revolution pill. It had the medicinal effect of stabilizing the void pierce stage. For cultivators who had just broken through to the void pierce stage, apart from those who possessed a heaven-defying physique, they would usually need tens of years of seclusion to stabilize their cultivation base. If one were to take a void strengthening pill, he would be able to reduce 20 years of hard work in seclusion. If he consumed 3 void reinforcing pills, he could directly stabilize his void pierce stage cultivation realm. Of course, the void strengthening pill also had a certain effect on stabilizing the great void realm, but the effect was greatly reduced. He was not confident that he would be able to break through to the absolute void stage in one go this time. However, he still decided to refine the void pill, and a sufficient amount of void strengthening pills in case of emergency. 1 month in the outside world was 10 years in the 7th level of the pagoda. During these 10 years he had repeatedly concocted the high-grade 6th revolution void bursting pill and void fortifying pill. His pill refinement mastery was infinitely close to the upper grade 6th revolution. He also received the pill sovereign's guidance for the second time, and observed the entire process of the pill sovereign breaking through to the 7th revolution. Although he did not deliberately absorb the pill sovereign's soul power of heaven and earth, it still improved the quality of his medicine soul imperceptibly. He only needed an opportunity to break through to the high-grade 6th revolution pill refinement realm. Even so, Ning Fan's success rate in concocting high-grade 6th revolution pills was only 1%. Fortunately, Ning Fan had plundered a large amount of spiritual herbs from the 4 clans of the Snow Pine clan. After failing more than 40 times, he finally managed to refine the first void-piercing pill. The Void Pierce pill was a high-grade 6th revolution pill. It could increase one's comprehension of the Void Pierce stage, and increase one's chances of breaking through to the void pierce stage. It was highly sought after by countless void inquiry stage and void pierce stage old monsters. After concocting this void pierce pill, Ningfan's pill refinement mastery naturally achieved a breakthrough and advanced to the high-grade 6th revolution. After his pill refinement realm improved, Ningfan began to concoct a large number of void consolidating pills. His success rate had already reached 20%. After 84 times of concocting the void reinforcing pills, he managed to concoct a total of 22 pills. After he finished concocting this batch of pills, Ningfan's success rate in concocting high-grade 6th revolution pills had already reached 40%. He had already prepared the void bursting pill and void fortifying pill. Now he only lacked the last void pill. The void pill was a peak grade 6th revolution pill. Normally, only peak grade 6th revolution pill refinement masters could concoct it. Ningfan decided to use the grade advancement technique to concoct this void pill. What he used was the blood revolution technique of the grade advancement technique. The blood revolution technique required a cultivator's primordial spirit to concoct the pill. In total, Ningfan had 2 primordial spirits of the primordial returning tree kings and the patriarch of the snow pine clan. He could attempt to concoct the void pill 3 times in total. He only needed to concoct the void pill to the high-grade 6th revolution. After that, he would use his primordial spirit to concoct the pill successfully. In order to concoct a high-grade 6th revolution pill, he would at least need to integrate the primordial spirit of an absolute void stage cultivator into the pill. The level of the primordial spirits of the 2 tree kings was sufficient, but the primordial spirit of the patriarch of the Snow Pine clan was only at the void pierce stage, which was slightly insufficient. Ningfan sighed. If he had known that the Yu Huang could help him refine the blood of the rain ancestor, he would certainly have captured the primordial spirits of the 6 absolute void stage cultivators when he was exterminating the cultivators of the 4 clans. Fortunately, the success rate of concocting a high-grade 6th revolution pill was 40%. Even if the success rate of one of the 3 attempts was slightly lower, he would still most likely succeed. After 3 attempts, Ningfan finally obtained an void pill. After preparing all the pills, Ningfan began to regulate his breath and magic power, restoring his condition to its peak. On the 10th year of the pagoda, Ningfan received a message from Qingdai's sound token. Big Brother Lu. Fortunately, I didn't fail you. The meaning of Qingdai's words could not be more obvious. She had successfully repaired 2 void fragmentation realm spiritual puppets. Ningfan's body swayed and returned to the outside world. He took the 2 spiritual puppets Ji Hua and Ji Dian from Qingdai. Then he stayed under the giant bamboo with the Yu Huang. Half a month passed by just like that. Half a month later, he left the sea of Si Luo bamboo. Stepping on the ancient golden sword, he flew eastward for 10 consecutive days. He flew past more than 100 cultivation countries, and eventually flew out of the border of Xiu country, arriving at the Azure Sea at the easternmost part of the tree world. There was no longer a piece of land or a single tree in this place. As far as his eyes could see, all he could see were green ocean waves that stretched as far as the eyes could see. The sky was filled with white clouds. In the depths of the ocean floated numerous islands that could not melt. On the islands stood numerous snow-capped mountains. The Azure Sea had long clouds and dark snow-capped mountains. This place was the sea region. It was not suitable for the cultivators of the tree world to cultivate. Thus it was rare for anyone to come here. After flying for a few days in the sea region, he chose the most barren island in the middle of the ocean and landed on it. He took out 500 mortal void realm formation discs and laid out 500 layers of mortal void realm formation lights on the island. Green ocean waves slapped against the shore. The sound of the waves was intense. Ningfan stood in the world of ice and snow. His eyes were filled with the intent of rain. From now on, this island would be the place where he would undergo his tribulation. Under the giant bamboo, I have borrowed Senior Yu Huang's first-grade bamboo intent to refine the natal blood rain for half a month. This rain has yet to be completely refined. If I refine it, it will at least increase my magic power by 1 million units. Ningfan's body swayed and he entered the profound Yin world. He wanted to refine the natal blood rain, and all the heavenly ingredients and earthly treasures that he had in his possession. The first thing he needed to refine was the natal blood rain that the rain ancestor had given him. In the profound Yin world, a crescent moon that was half black and half white hung high in the sky. Under the gray moonlight, Ningfan sat cross-legged in the vast sky of the profound Yin world, refining the natal blood rain in his body. Luo Yu walked out of the thatched hut and carefully guarded him while giving him advice. The strength of the rain ancestor's bloodline is not as strong as Fu Li and Mo Luo. Even if you refine this drop of natal blood rain, you might not be able to condense an entire drop of ancestral blood of the divine race. In my opinion, you can only condense half a drop of ancestral blood at most. Since you have half a drop of ancestral blood, your divine bloodline isn't really at the ancestral level. It can only be considered as the royal bloodline. Royal bloodline, huh? That's enough. Ningfan did not look down on royal bloodline. Even in the four heavens, there were definitely not many people whose divine bloodline had reached the royal bloodline. All of them were the gods of the royal bloodline of the various divine races. It was already very difficult for someone to obtain a divine bloodline from nothing to reach the royal bloodline in one go. If he really wants to break through to the level of the ancestral bloodline, he could just find a way in the future. He focused his mind and closed his primordial spirit. His body was surrounded by the heavenly green third-grade rain intent, and he began to refine the natal blood rain. As the natal blood rain was being refined bit by bit, his magic power began to increase rapidly. 2 million units. 21 million units. 22 million units. When the natal blood rain was completely refined, Ningfan's magic power finally reached 2 million units. It was 200,000 units more than the 10 million units required to break through to the void-pierce stage. However, every time he refined a trace of the natal blood rain, some of the heavenly green rain intent would turn into fine needles and pierce into his heart. At first, the pain was still within his bearable range. However, as he absorbed more and more of the blood rain, more and more of the rain intent turned into needles and pierced his heart. The pain in his heart began to intensify. The pain began to spread and gradually spread to his limbs and bones. In the end, even his primordial spirit was entangled by the intense pain. This degree of pain was certainly not enough to make Ningfan let out a groan. However, when the natal blood rain was completely refined, Ningfan's face already looked a little pale. Obviously, it was caused by the heart-wrenching pain. What happened? Luo Yu noticed the paleness on Ningfan's face and asked with concern. It's nothing. It's nothing. It's just a sudden heart-wrenching pain. However, why would this heart-wrenching pain appear all of a sudden? Ningfan's brows were tightly knitted together. His aura contained a dignified aura force of the divine race. That aura force was extremely heavy, as if a deity of a royal clan above the four heavens had descended. It's strange. It's extremely strange. This pain appeared out of nowhere. Ningfan had refined the Fu Li ancestral blood and Mo Luo ancestral blood before. However, he had never thought that the rain intent would turn into needles and the heart-wrenching pain would occur. He looked inside his body and was shocked all of a sudden. Under the piercing of countless rain intent needles, his flesh and blood were filled with wounds. These wounds were not enough to surprise Ningfan. What surprised him was the change that happened to his heart. At this moment, Ningfan's heart no longer had the color of blood. Instead, it had turned into a heavenly green color. The heavenly green color was the color of the rain intent. On his heart, there were countless wounds that were dripping with blood. All of them were caused by the rain intent just now. After Ningfan consumed a healing pill and summoned his natal black star to heal himself, the wounds on his body healed rapidly. His complexion gradually returned to normal. However, there was still a tiny aperture on his heart that could not be healed. There was only one explanation for the fact that the aperture could not be healed. The extra aperture was not an injury. Within those orifices, there was an endless rain intent. Even though the aperture was small, after it was opened, it increased the flow of Ningfan's magic power by more than 5%. Before Ningfan could think about it carefully, he suddenly felt an unimaginable tearing pain coming from his heart. Inside the aperture on his heart, The rain intent realm suddenly turned into a violent whirlpool. As the rain intent rotated, the aperture on his heart was gradually expanding. Hiss! Even with Ning Fan's strong willpower, he could not help but suck in a cold breath because of the tearing pain. After the intense pain, the heavenly green rain intent in his body suddenly went berserk. At this moment, layers of illusions appeared in front of Ning Fan's eyes. He closed his eyes. All of his consciousness was pulled into the whirlpool of the rain intent. In the world of his consciousness, Ning Fan was dressed in white robes. He was standing in a bamboo city that was filled with the fragrance of wine. Inside the bamboo city, Ning Fan's clothes were wet from the drizzle. He was standing outside a tavern. Inside the tavern, there were many customers who were drinking. Among the customers, there was a black-robed young man who was drinking alone. The scene in front of him was so familiar. Ning Fan immediately realized that he had seen everything here in the illusory realm of the first stage of the ruling Sky City. It was the illusory realm where he was drinking with the Rain Ancestor. The black-robed young man who was drinking alone was the Rain Ancestor. When the black-robed young man noticed Ning Fan's appearance, he was stunned at first. Then he looked at Ning Fan from head to toe. Immediately, his eyes became extremely strange. "You're early." "I'm early. The rain intent hasn't even reached the first grade. Why am I already here?" The black-robed young man looked at Ning Fan with a strange expression. "I'm early? What do you mean?" Ning Fan was stunned. The reason why he appeared in this illusory realm again was because something had happened while he was refining his natal blood rain. An extra aperture appeared in his heart out of nowhere. Could it be that everything was arranged by the Rain Ancestor? What I mean is that you're really early. You should come after your rain intent reaches the first grade. With your third grade rain intent, the success rate of you opening the divine aperture isn't high. Don't tell me you really think that I gave you that drop of blood rain just so that you can condense the royal bloodline and divine blood? The natal blood rain that I gave you contains a profound secret. It took me millions of years to condense a single drop. If you possess the first grade rain intent and refine this drop of blood rain, you will have at least a 50% chance of opening the first divine aperture. There's a saying in the ancient divine clan: a heart with 3 apertures can transform into a heart source. A heart with 7 apertures can establish a heart realm. If you can open the first divine aperture, your cultivation speed will at least double. The medicinal effect of refining heavenly ingredients and earthly treasures to improve your magic power will also double. If you open the divine aperture, you will become an ancient god. What I gave you was a great opportunity to become an ancient god. How could you not cherish it? With your third grade rain intent, the success rate of opening the first divine aperture is definitely less than 20%. The black-robed young man's words made Ning Fan reveal a bitter smile. He really did not know that this drop of blood rain from the Rain Ancestor contained so many profound secrets. Originally, he wanted to use the bamboo intent of the secluded bamboo to refine the natal blood rain. Now it seemed like it was a bad move. Although the natal blood rain that the Rain Ancestor gave him could not help him condense the ancestral blood, it could help him open the divine aperture and become an ancient god. Even though he still did not know what a divine aperture was, he understood that his chance of becoming an ancient god had dropped from 50% to 20% because of his momentary mistake. It would be a lie to say that he did not feel heartache. However, Ning Fan did not have the time to think about all these. He just wanted to find a way to remedy it. A man's life could never be smooth sailing all the time. Instead of regretting his past failure, it was better to pursue success in the future. I really didn't know that the drop of blood rain that Senior gave me has such a magical effect. Senior, can you tell me the method to open the divine aperture and cultivate to become an ancient god? Even if there's only a 20% chance of success, I'm willing to risk everything and open the first divine aperture with all my might. Ning Fan's eyes were as calm as still water without any ripples. The opportunity to become an ancient god was originally a heaven-sent opportunity. However, things like opportunities could not be forced in the first place. Whether it was a 20% chance or a 50% chance, there was a huge chance of failure. Becoming an ancient god was never a foolproof thing. If I succeed, I'll be lucky. If I fail, I'll be doomed. If I fail, I won't be qualified to succeed. What Ning Fan wanted to do was to try his best to seize this opportunity. However, if he really could not seize the opportunity, he would have to give up the opportunity to become an ancient god this time, and find a way to achieve the body of an ancient god in the future. The black-robed young man slowly rose to his feet, and looked at Ning Fan with a faint smile. After a long time he praised him. Not bad. What he praised was Ning Fan's steady temperament. Regardless of whether Ning Fan could become an ancient god today or not, his indifferent mental state was already enough to earn his praise. For the Rain world to have such a junior, the younger generation would really surpass us in time. If he could live in the same world as Ning Fan, perhaps the two of them could become strong rivals. The black-robed young man made a grabbing motion with his large hand. The fine rain that filled the sky was gathered into his hand, and turned into a sky-green jade slip. Then he tossed it to Ning Fan. In this jade slip, there's the cultivation method to open the first divine aperture of an ancient god. The ancient god clan uses the heart to prove the Tao and harmonize the laws with the heavens. The heart is the origin of all laws. If the heart dies, the laws will perish. When the divine aperture is opened in the heart, the laws will be harmonized with the heavens. A single aperture can allow one to become an ancient god. A 3-aperture ancient god can condense the heart origin, and a 7-aperture ancient god can transcend the mortal realm. In the era that I'm alive, I've never seen a 7-aperture ancient god, and I'm just a 6-aperture ancient god. Speaking of this, the black-robed young man's face showed a hint of reminiscence. I have a method that can increase the success rate of you opening the divine aperture to 100%. Do you dare to try it? He did not ask if Ning Fan was willing to try it or not. He only asked if Ning Fan dared to do it. This was because there were many people who were willing to increase the success rate of opening the divine aperture. However, there were only a few who dared to use it and could use it. Ning Fan could use this method, but he might not dare to use it. The Rain Ancestor was not a person with heaven-defying aptitude. In other words, his aptitude was as ordinary as his appearance. It was like a drizzle that moistened everything silently, and was not valued by others. However, he still cultivated to the immortal Emperor realm with his obsession and took control of the Rain world, establishing himself as the ancestor. He had fused the power of the 3 races of gods, demons and devils by chance. Although it was easy to say that it was an opportunity, the bloody battle that it contained was not known to anyone. He did not rely on his aptitude to reach the peak step by step. It was just that he had endured more pain than the other geniuses of the same generation. Originally, his aptitude was not enough to open the divine aperture successfully. Thus, he could not become an ancient god, and was once despised by his clan members. However, he forcefully thought of a ruthless method to increase the success rate of opening the divine aperture. This method was called the heart-severing technique. It required the power of demons and devils to create an illusory realm in one's heart, and the power to lock one's spirit. Severing one's heart in the illusory realm could last for thousands of years. The illusory realm would only end when the heart aperture was severed. One would either sever the heart aperture or die from the pain in the illusory realm. Do you dare to try it? The black-robed young man made a grabbing motion with his large hand and formed a second jade slip. The jade slip contained the complete heart-severing technique, as well as some other information. When the Rain Ancestor was young, he severed his heart in the illusory realm for 100,000 years before he managed to open the first divine aperture. As for the Rain Ancestor, he endured the pain of having his heart severed for 100,000 years before he managed to open the first divine aperture. This kind of pain was not something an ordinary person could endure. Ning Fan carefully scanned the 2 jade slips with his spirit sense. After pondering for a while, he nodded and said, "This method is worth a try." Luo Yu had once cultivated the heart aperture technique, and endured the pain of having her heart severed for 7,000 years. That was not the true divine aperture opening technique of the ancient gods. The pain that little Yu had endured before, he could endure it today. Chapter 585. The black-robed young man nodded in satisfaction when he saw Ning Fan nod his head. Ning Fan actually dared to try the heart-severing technique. Not bad. He praised Ning Fan for the last time, and walked out of the tavern in silence. He walked along the small path outside the tavern, bathing in the drizzling rain as he walked further and further away. He was the rain ancestor, but in the end, he still died. He could only bestow opportunities to his descendants. As for whether they would succeed or fail, live or die, it was all fated and could not be forced. Naturally, he could not interfere. He came in the storm and left in the rain. Whence he came, whence he went. As for what kind of illustrious battle records the first ancestor you had, how he rose step by step from a nobody, in the end, no one knew. Ning Fan kept the jade slip and cupped his fists at the direction where ancestor you had left. He stood in the drizzling rain for a long time, filled with respect and gratitude. After the figure of the rain ancestor completely disappeared in the wind and rain, the scene of the illusion gradually changed. Ning Fan knew that his heart-severing technique was about to begin. His eyes revealed a dignified expression. He turned a deaf ear to the changing scenery around him, and only focused on making hand seals. The first step of the severing heart technique requires the use of the demonic energy to seal the divine power. Ning Fan temporarily separated the three forces, and turned them into the forces of the divine race, the demon race and the devil race again. Green, purple, and black mist suddenly appeared in the illusion. The mist dissipated, and three young men appeared in the illusion. The first youth was dressed in a green robe. His body was surrounded by an extremely strong will of rain, and three blood-colored stars flickered between his eyebrows. He was a royal divine cultivator, and his expression was benevolent and dignified. The second young man was donned in a purple robe, and his body was shrouded in the purple radiance of the Fuli monster intent. Two purple stars flashed in his left eye. He was an ancestor-level monster cultivator with a devilish expression on his face. The third young man was dressed in a black robe, and a domineering demonic will of the mountains floated around him. The demonic intent of the mountain came from one of the 9 mountains that suppressed the demonic lord, Luo. The black-robed youth had 2 black stars shining in his right eye. He was an ancestral blood devil cultivator, and his expression was arrogant and domineering. The 3 young men had different expressions, but their appearances were the same. All of them were Ning Fan. These 3 young men were the forms that were materialized from the power of the 3 clans in Ning Fan's illusory realm in his mind. They had nothing to do with his clone abilities. There was a flash of light in the illusion. Countless purple and black chains suddenly appeared around the green-robed god cultivator, binding him tightly. A purple flying sword appeared in the hands of the purple-robed demonic cultivator. A giant black axe appeared in the black-robed demonic cultivator's hand. Cut him down. The blue-clothed divine cultivator lightly said, unafraid. The next moment, the purple-robed demonic cultivator pointed with his finger, and the flying sword in front of him transformed into a purple beam of light that pierced the chest of the green-robed divine cultivator, piercing his heart. The blue-clothed god cultivator frowned as if he was in great pain, but he didn't say anything. After a few breaths, a blue mist appeared in his chest, and his heart, which had been pierced by the sword light, slowly regenerated. When the purple-robed demon cultivator saw this, he changed his hand seal. Suddenly, millions of purple flying swords appeared in front of him, and pierced towards the green-robed divine cultivator's chest. 1 million swords, 2 million swords, 3 million swords. A year passed. The green-robed divine cultivator's face was extremely pale, but he still did not say a word. It's been a year. It's your turn. The purple-robed demonic cultivator said to the black-robed demonic cultivator. The black-robed fiendish cultivator nodded. He waved his giant axe and chopped down at the green-robed divine cultivator's chest. Just a single chop contained unparalleled strength. Not only did it shatter the heart of the green-clothed divine cultivator, it even chopped his body into 2. After a burst of blue mist, the green-clothed divine cultivator's broken body recovered, and his heart also recovered. The black-robed fiendish cultivator sneered and said, "It seems that the axe strike isn't painful enough. Let's do something new. Change." He pointed his finger, and the giant axe immediately turned into an iron-beaked black eagle, pouncing towards the green-clothed divine cultivator's chest. Its sharp iron claws easily tore open the green-clothed divine cultivator's chest. Its iron beak, which was as sharp as a sword, suddenly pecked at the green-clothed divine cultivator's beating heart under his ribs. The black eagle did not tear off the heart in one breath. Instead, it pecked at the green-clothed divine cultivator's heart with its beak. The green-clothed divine cultivator's heart kept growing, while the black eagle kept pecking at it. The second year passed. The young divine cultivator's face was even paler, but he was still alive. The black-robed fiendish cultivator's arrogant eyes revealed a tinge of admiration. It was the purple-robed demonic cultivator's turn to torture the green-clothed divine cultivator. The purple-robed demonic cultivator smiled evilly. Attack his heart for 2 years consecutively. Let's change the place and change the taste. Let his heart rest for a year, and enjoy some peace. The next year, when we attack, it will be even more painful. As soon as the purple-robed demonic cultivator finished speaking, he approached the green-clothed divine cultivator directly. He raised one hand and grabbed at the green-clothed divine cultivator's eyes, gouging them out. Then he waved his hand casually, and a purple dagger appeared. It cut off the green-clothed divine cultivator's arm and thigh piece by piece, scraping the white bones, and blood splattered all over the ground. Not long after, the green-clothed divine cultivator's body recovered, while the purple-robed demonic cultivator revealed an evil smile again, and changed the method to torture the green-clothed divine cultivator. Just like that, the third year passed. Although the young divine cultivator did not make a sound from the beginning to the end, he finally could not bear the torturous torture anymore. The fourth year, the fifth year, the sixth year, year after year, there was no distinction between day and night in the illusion realm, and it was hard to distinguish between spring and autumn. 10 years passed, 100 years passed, 1,000 years passed, 7,000 years passed. In this year, the green-clothed divine cultivator's body was illusory, and it was almost dissipating. He could no longer bear any more torture from the other two. He finally understood how painful it was for Luoyu to endure the pain of having her heart gouged out for 7,000 years. Little you err, what exactly is she shouldering that made her hurt herself so desperately just to take revenge? The green-clothed divine cultivator was on the verge of death, as if he would die at any time. However, he gritted his teeth and said stubbornly to the purple-robed and black-robed demonic cultivator, "Continue. The first divine aperture has yet to be opened." The purple-robed demonic cultivator and black-robed devil cultivator exchanged glances. They could see the hesitation in each other's eyes. The heart-severing technique had reached this stage, but it still could not open the divine aperture. There was really no need to continue. If it continues, the green-clothed divine cultivator would certainly die. No, it would be Ning Fan who would definitely die. However, once this illusion realm is activated, he would not be able to leave unless he opens the divine aperture. This was a method that could achieve a 100% success rate. It was enough to firmly open the first divine aperture. However, in order to achieve a 100% success rate, there must be a prerequisite: to stay alive until the moment when the divine aperture is opened. Continue. I won't die so easily. The green-clothed divine cultivator's eyes flashed with a hint of determination. The moment this determination appeared on his face, he suddenly had a mysterious feeling that he was one with the heavens. Countless green mists suddenly enveloped his body. Almost 80% of his injuries were healed in an instant. This is. The green-clothed, purple-robed and black-robed demonic cultivators revealed a thoughtful expression. At the next moment, the three of them revealed a look of understanding. I see. The three of them said at the same time. They recalled the last words of the Rain Ancestor. The ancient god clan proves the Tao with the heart. If the heart dies, the law will perish. On the other hand, if the heart does not die, the law will not perish. With a trace of obsession in the heart, the law will protect this body for eternity, and the courage to live as long as heaven and earth. This was the great Tao of the ancient god clan. During the great ancient tribulation, the ancient god clan lost their heart. The heart did not only refer to the aptitude to cultivate magic power, but also the obsession in the heart. If one did not have enough obsession, How could one subdue the heart? If one could subdue the heart, one would be able to attain the great Tao. Subdue the heart, huh? The green-robed divine cultivator seemed to have gained a great understanding of the divine Tao. His eyes became more resolute and his heart became more resolute. The black-robed and purple-robed demonic cultivators took turns to attack his heart. They destroyed the heart of the divine cultivator countless times. However, the heart of the divine cultivator healed itself in an instant. 8,000 years, 9,000 years, 10,000 years, 20,000 years, 50,000 years, 100,000 years, 100,000 years of pain could not erase the obsession in the eyes of the green-robed divine cultivator. His heart was still there. Enough! The green-robed divine cultivator suddenly raised his head and laughed. He shook his magic power and broke the demon devil shackles on his body. When he took the first step, the injuries on his body instantly healed. When he took the second step, he had already merged with the purple-robed and black-robed demonic cultivators. When he took the third step, he turned into a white-robed demonic cultivator. The corner of his mouth rose slightly and he said, "First divine aperture, open." The pain of 100,000 years of heart severing could not make him yield. It only made his belief become stronger. At this moment, the heart-severing illusory realm completely collapsed. In the outside world, Ning Fan, who was sitting cross-legged in the profound Yin world, suddenly opened his eyes. He had stayed in the illusory realm for 100,000 years. However, that illusory realm was just like a nap dream. It was extremely short. In the outside world, only the time it takes for half an incense stick to burn had passed. The moment Ning Fan activated the heart-severing technique, his body in the outside world automatically fell unconscious. When he woke up, he realized that he was leaning against a warm, fragrant and soft embrace. Luo Yu was hugging Ning Fan tightly with great concern. She held his unconscious body tightly against her chest. Her beautiful eyes no longer had the usual charm. Instead, there was only undisguised panic and worry. She did not know what happened when Ning Fan was refining the natal blood rain of the rain ancestor at all. However, she could tell that the incident that Ning Fan encountered must be extremely serious. Otherwise, his face would not have turned as pale as a piece of paper in just the time it takes for half an incense stick to burn. He looked like he was about to die. At that moment, Luo Yu could clearly feel Ning Fan's life force fading away rapidly. It was as if he would die at any time in her arms. At that moment, her mind was no longer thinking about revenge, or using Ning Fan's power to escape from the profound Yin world. She just did not want him to die. She did not want him to die. Even if she had to pay any price, she would not want him to die. At this moment, Ning Fan's life force suddenly recovered, and he woke up unscathed. "Hey, are you alright? Is this true?" Luo Yu no longer had her usual calm demeanor. Her eyes suddenly became moist and her tears stained her sleeves. Ning Fan originally wanted to tease Luo Yu. However, when he saw her current expression, his heart was touched and he could no longer laugh. He could only comfort her tenderly. There was a small incident, but I'm fine now." He raised his hand to wipe away her tears. Luo Yu was stunned. Then, she gradually regained her senses. She let go of Ning Fan and stood up gently, avoiding his hand. "It's good that you're fine. Continue to break through the void-pierce stage bottleneck. I will protect you." She had already regained her usual calm demeanor. If it wasn't because of the tear stains at the corner of her eyes, Ning Fan would find it hard to imagine that the lady who held him in a heartbroken state just now was Luo Yu. Luo Yu wiped away her tears on her own. Her eyes gradually squeezed out a hint of charm, and regained her charming expression. She carefully looked at Ning Fan. When their eyes met, she was suddenly shocked. Ning Fan had just fainted for the time it takes for half an incense stick to burn. However, his current gaze was vastly different from before. At this moment, Ning Fan's eyes were as resolute as a rock. They also contained a sense of vicissitudes of life after going through all kinds of hardships. If it wasn't because Luo Yu had watched Ning Fan grow up, she would certainly think that he was an old monster who had lived for 100,000 years. She naturally did not expect that Ning Fan would suffer the torture of having his heart severed for 100,000 years in the illusory realm. while suppressing the magic power and aura force in his body that was rising rapidly. Ning Fan knew that he must immediately consume other heavenly ingredients and earthly treasures to continue replenishing his magic power after breaking through to the Void Pierce stage in preparation for breaking through to the Absolute Void stage in the future. Little you heir, I have something to tell you. The reason why I fainted just now was because of that drop of natal blood rain. That drop of natal blood rain was specially refined by the rain ancestor. It has the miraculous effect of opening the divine aperture of a cultivator. I have already successfully opened the first aperture of the ancient god. These are the information about the divine aperture of the ancient god that I obtained from the rain ancestor. You can take a look. It might be of some help to you. Ning Fan took out a jade slip and imprinted all the secrets of the ancient god that he had learned in the illusory realm into it. Then he gave it to Luo Yu. He did not look at Luo Yu's surprised expression. Instead, he immediately took out a series of pills and Dao fruits and began to refine all kinds of heavenly ingredients and earthly treasures. Luo Yu was extremely shocked. She did not expect that Ning Fan could open the first aperture of the ancient god in just the time it takes for half an incense stick to burn and become a true ancient god. After reading the jade slip, Luo Yu realized that the heart aperture technique that she cultivated in the past was just an imitation of the ancient god. It was impossible for her to truly open the divine aperture of the ancient god. In the past, she had endured the pain of having her heart gouged out for 7,000 years. However, she had made a mistake. She also saw the heart-severing technique from the jade slip. Almost instantly, she guessed that Ning Fan must have used such a ruthless technique to open his divine aperture. He used the heart-severing technique to sever his own heart in the illusory realm. Every time he severed his heart, it would last for thousands of years or even tens of thousands of years. That's why he was so weak just now, as if he was about to die. She stared at Ning Fan without blinking, waiting to witness the power of his ancient god body. Ning Fan was an ancient god with one aperture. At this moment, the tiny aperture on his heart had been opened to the size of a finger. It was the first divine aperture. A vast amount of magic power flowed inside the divine aperture, causing Ning Fan's magic power cultivation speed to be twice as fast as before. As for the pills that could increase his magic power, the improvement he obtained was also twice as fast as before. Moreover, the divine aperture could continuously absorb the power of heaven and earth and turn it into magic power. Even if Ning Fan does not cultivate, he could still increase his magic power by 60 years every day. In 1 year, he could automatically increase 365 units of magic power. In 10,000 years, he could automatically increase 3,650,000 units of magic power. In 100,000 years, he could automatically increase 36.5 million units of magic power. Even if a true ancient god with one aperture never cultivates in his or her life, he or she would still be able to gather 1 million units of magic power before advancing to the void refinement realm. Of course, whether or not he or she could successfully attain the void fragmentation realm depended on his or her own ability. If he opens the second aperture, the third aperture and the fourth aperture, the improvement of his magic power would become even more heaven-defying. The ancient god clan was born to be far superior to other clans in terms of magic power cultivation. Ning Fan consumed 200 serene grass pills in succession. With the help of the terrifying refining speed of the profound Yin world, he refined all the pills within a day. The serene grass pill was a mid-grade 6th revolution pill. Each pill could increase 2,000 units of magic power. In total, 200 of them could increase 400,000 units of magic power. However, after Ning Fan consumed so many serene grass pills, his magic power increased by 800,000 units. After he opened his first divine aperture, he consumed a pill that increased his magic power by 2 times compared to others. His magic power was now 11 million units, twice the effect of consuming pills. Luo Yu's beautiful eyes were filled with a hint of excitement and astonishment. The ancient god clan was indeed very powerful. For an ancient god with a single aperture, consuming a pill was equivalent to consuming 2 pills for others. If it's an ancient god with a higher cultivation base, it would certainly be even more heaven-defying. Ning Fan did not continue to consume other pills. Instead, he took out 50 azure bone pills and refined them one by one as a test. Each of the 50 azure bone pills could greatly increase his essence chi cultivation base. 50 pills could increase his essence chi cultivation base by 500,000 units in total. After consuming all of the azure bone pills, Ning Fan's essence chi cultivation base increased from 9 million units to 9.5 million units. However, the effect of consuming the pills did not increase. It seems like the divine aperture can only increase the medicinal effect of pills that increase magic power. Ning Fan took out 9 barbaric dragon fruits and consumed them one by one, increasing his essence chi by 900,000 units in total. Similarly, the 9 barbaric dragon fruits did not increase the medicinal effect. Then he took out the entire barbaric dragon tree and assimilated it into his body in an extremely wasteful manner. His essence chi increased by 1 million units, but the medicinal effect did not increase either. You silly little brother. You actually ate the barbaric dragon tree. Luo Yu stared at Ning Fan speechlessly. The origin of this barbaric dragon tree was not simple. Just an ordinary barbaric dragon tree could bear 12 barbaric dragon fruits in 1,000 years. Each of the barbaric dragon fruits was a supreme treasure for Golden Body Realm cultivators to improve their body refinement cultivation base. The barbaric dragon tree was considered as a rare spiritual root in the four heavens. As for the body refinement clans in the four heavens, they knew the secret technique to cultivate the barbaric dragon tree into an ancestral tree. Once the barbaric dragon tree is cultivated into an ancestral tree, the barbaric dragon ancestral fruits that it bears would be even more heaven-defying. Luo Yu was just a little speechless. Of course, she understood that Ning Fan was not a person who had the patience to plant and raise trees. What he lacked right now was time. He needed to do everything he could to improve his cultivation base, even if it would be a waste of a heavenly treasure. After refining the barbaric dragon tree, Ning Fan's essence chi cultivation base broke through to 11.4 million units. At this moment, his ancient devil cultivation base broke through to the late reckless devil realm. The number of golden orifices in his body increased rapidly. At this moment, his body refinement realm, which was at the 3rd level of the golden body realm, broke through to the 4th level of the golden body realm. Not only that, after absorbing the wood power of a rare spiritual tree like the barbaric dragon tree, the cultivation of his wood element physique had reached 1% of perfection. His ability to control wood had greatly improved. The minor 5 elements physique can actually be upgraded. Ning Fan exclaimed in surprise. Of course, the minor 5 elements physique can be upgraded. By absorbing the power of the innately born spiritual objects of the 5 elements, one can gradually cultivate the minor 5 elements physique to perfection, and eventually attain the great 5 elements physique. Luo Yu explained. I see. Ning Fan nodded his head. Since the minor 5 elements physique could be upgraded, he was naturally willing to search for the spiritual objects of the 5 elements to achieve perfection. However, now was not the time to be concerned about the minor 5 elements physique. He patted his storage pouch and took out some other body refinement pills and consumed all of them. Eventually, his essence chi stopped at 11.8 million units. Next, he took out some pills that could increase his magic power again. With the help of his divine aperture, his magic power increased by 2 times. 120 divine bamboo pills could increase a void pierce stage cultivator's magic power by 1.2 million units. After consuming them, his magic power increased by 2.4 million units, reaching 13.4 million units. He took out 15 void refinement realm Dao fruits that he had plundered from various places. These void refinement realm Dao fruits were of different grades. They could increase a total of 800,000 units of magic power. After consuming these void refinement realm Dao fruits, Ning Fan's magic power increased by 1.6 million units, reaching 15 million units. He took out a void refinement realm Dao fruit that he plundered from the Snow Pine clan, and swallowed it in one go, slowly refining it. Originally, this Dao fruit could increase a cultivator's magic power by 1 million units. However, at this moment, it actually increased by 2 million units. His magic power reached 17 million units. The last item he took out was the Tao fruit of the Rogue Immortal that he obtained from the 4 tests of the Sky Dominion City. This Tao fruit of the Rogue Immortal was sealed in ice with 7th grade cold qi. Ning Fan directly refined it together with the cold qi. The cold qi could increase the firepower of the yin-yang flame and replenish the water element of the 5 elements. It could also increase a cultivator's magic power by nearly 50,000 units. As for the Rogue Immortal Tao fruit, it could increase a cultivator's magic power by 2 million units. After refining the 2 items at the same time, Ning Fan's magic power increased by 1 million units. The cultivation of his water elemental physique also improved to 1%. Magic power, 1 million units. The bottleneck of the Void Pierce stage was 10 million cycles, while the bottleneck of the Absolute Void stage was 20 million cycles. Now that his magic power had reached this level, he could really break through the bottleneck of the Absolute Void stage in a single step. The vast Taishu mana could no longer be suppressed. The breakthrough was imminent, and the heavenly tribulation was about to descend. Ning Fan no longer waited. He hurriedly took out Void Pierce pills and Absolute Void pills and consumed them. Then, his eyes flashed with determination, and he began to break through the bottleneck of the Absolute Void stage. His comprehension was sufficient, his magic power was sufficient, and he even had the assistance of pills. Breaking through was a matter of course. Ning Fan's aura force rose steadily. All of a sudden, he stood up and his aura force reached its peak at this moment. Cultivation Taishu. Be careful. At the moment when Ning Fan broke through to the Absolute Void realm, Luo Yu hastily warned him. However, it was already too late. All of a sudden, a gigantic palm appeared out of nowhere in the profound Yin world and slapped at Ning Fan. The palm was formed by borrowing the power of the heavenly Tao, so it did not have any damaging power. However, when the palm landed on Ning Fan's body, Ning Fan, who had just broken through to the Absolute Void stage and had yet to stabilize his aura force, immediately swayed and fell out of the profound Yin world. As expected, it's impossible to use the profound Yin world to transcend my tribulation. Ning Fan frowned, as if he had already expected this situation. He was not particularly concerned about the Void Inquiry stage heavenly tribulation. However, he was already fully focused on the Void Pierce stage heavenly tribulation. This time, in order to resist the Yin Wind tribulation, he had made a lot of preparations. However, he still chose to break through to the Absolute Void stage in the profound Yin world in the end, because he wanted to see if he could transcend his tribulation in the profound Yin world through tricks. The profound Yin world was a medium-sized world. Its level was higher than the Rain world. The heavenly Tao of the Rain world did not have the right to punish him in the profound Yin world. If it was just a normal heavenly tribulation, Ning Fan could also choose to transcend it in the profound Yin world. However, the heavenly Tao of the lower world obviously did not like Ning Fan, and insisted on intensifying the heavenly tribulation. This was against the rules of heaven and earth. Heavenly tribulations were not allowed in the profound Yin world. Therefore, Ning Fan wanted to enter the profound Yin world through tricks, and see if he could directly block the heavenly tribulation in the lower world with its power. However, it was a pity that the heavenly Tao of the lower world still had such a method. It directly sent Ning Fan out of the profound Yin world and back to the island of ice. Fortunately, Ning Fan had set up layers of grand formations on the island of ice in advance. Otherwise, he would not even have the strength to fight back. He looked up at the sky, the aura of the great void soaring. Above the vault of heaven, dark clouds covered the sky. The chilly winds were as sharp as blades. The heavenly tribulation this time was none other than the Yin wind tribulation. Moreover, the destructive power of the wind tribulation was at least at the first heavenly layer of the void fragmentation realm. 3 giants with cultivation bases at the first heavenly layer of the void fragmentation realm stood coldly above those dark clouds. All of them were Tao guardians. The one in charge of the Yin wind tribulation this time was a tree-armored giant named Call the Wind. As for the other 2 giants, one was an ice giant that wore green armor. Its name was Qing Shuang. One was a mountain giant. It wore rock armor and was called Landslide. Cultivator Ning Fan has killed too many people and repeatedly violated the harmony of heaven. He cannot be forgiven. I, the Tao wielder, represent the heavens to descend the wind and punish you in the tree immortal world. My name is Call Wind. The howling wind giant said coldly with a thunderous roar that was as dark as a saber. That you're tuning in to the Li Mei's Wuxia Whispers YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.